welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're going to talk about, something that makes me very, very happy, but might make me a little bit sad because we are getting rather close to the end of our sort of Shannara. As I said, fuck. Oh, pardon me. My coffee. Um, Shoot. All right, you've had your first F bomb of the day. As I said on my Twitter, this is our penultimate. This is our penultimate episode of, of the sort of Shannara, and we are a mess. We are just a complete mess. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip everything I would say. Go straight to the introductions. Hi, Rennie.
Hey, Teresa. Hey, Steve.
Hi.
Good to be here with you guys. How are you guys?
Well, something in the private chat that just threw me completely for a loop. And sorry about that, because I know sometimes it seems a little rude if you can't share, but we can't share. And all the way from the future, it is the one, it is the only Steve Kenobi.
Hi.
Hi.
How do you do?
Oh my goodness, that was so polite.
I know. See, that's very Downton Abbey of
Downton
you.
Abbey, yeah. We got a Downton Abbey sighting here. Well, I'm doing very well. How's the future?
Winter's coming. It's getting chilly. It's getting uncomfortable in Norway. Shitty. Making me hate people a lot more. Someone has to be blamed. I blame people.
I'm sorry. Oh, good. I'm glad you hate people that much, and I hate you. Though that sounded rather rude, didn't it? Just say to a guest for making me laugh like that.
I'm fine with it. Frankly, madam, I do not care.
Oh, yeah, he's in fine form today. Well, so no nuclear holocaust then.
No, not in my town. No, if it's in any other town, I'm fine with it.
Oh, okay. So at least where Steve lives, there is no.
Yeah, I'm thinking a nuclear holocaust will raise the average IQ on the planet. So.
Oh, fudge. All right, let's say hi to our guests. We have Snortopupus Gruber. Hello, humans and other critters. Yes, we like our animal terror at Miss Martin Muses. Jacob Ironside is here. Snail Messiah is here. Yes, we have another Scandinavian. I am here. All shall tremble, all shall despair, for I am the great Snail Messiah. Feel my immense power, feel my voice as the sound of 100 bells tolling for your lives.
That's a hell of a snail.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Okay, people are saying hi to Rennie and Stieg and everything, and me too. Howdy, says Keck. Hello, Keck. Let's see. Oh, wait. Snail Messiah, Snortopupus. I'm much too humble for such epic greetings. I am just an old bear. And Sean Soup
Well,
is
at least
here
you're
as
bearable.
Snail Messiah says, Stieg, the Swedes are claiming they share a common ancestor with the great apes. The great apes are refusing.
Yeah, this is true. I've seen it on the news.
Okay, well, even the apes don't want to be Swedish, apparently.
Oh.
No. Okay, I'm afraid to click the private chat. Oh, fudge. I shouldn't have checked. Okay. Stieg has a point. Poop says, winter, sigh. It's a bear time of year. Well, I hope everything's okay out there on your iceberg. You know, I keep being told that all your iceberg is disintegrating, but you keep showing up. So I think that might be fake news. That might be fake news. Oh, and everyone's saying again hi to each other. Hope your day is amazing. Well, I hope all of your days are amazing. Even though I woke up in a rage this morning, in a rage. Matt G, hello, brought the bacon. Them is big words for a slithering gastropod. pod. Wow. Yeah. Well, there you go. Everyone's loving bacon because we love bacon here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do. It is a known fact, and all that deny that are my foes. So, well, before we get started, as usual, on our discussions of the books, I'd like to go ahead and maybe open up the ball game. This time, I'm going to roll for it, see who gets to go first, to kind of give a general impression of the for these three chapters. And I rolled for Rennie, so Rennie, you get to go first.
All right. Um, these three chapters were actually quite, I don't want to use the word enthralling, but captivating. There you go. That sounds better.
Yeah,
But
it was captivating.
It was very captivating. Something happened in chapter, well, what is it, 28 into 29 that I really did not see coming so quickly. I saw it happening a little bit later. So that was interesting. And yeah, just lots
Do
of.
you think the author was trolling us?
In
Ah.
chapter 30 they were. No. But yeah, that was pretty cool. We get to learn a little bit more about Kelset in one of the chapters. I don't know. And yeah, we do see some budding romance, and I don't know. Very, very interesting chapters. Of course, you know me, I have to go through them twice just to digest because, it's a lot of information, but I quite enjoyed these three.
Yay. Yeah, it, can you feel the love tonight?
Oh, man.
It was and as someone um that likes romance as good as much as the next person. Holy cannoli. This was pretty bad.
There is more of that in the coming books.
Oh yay. Well, I hope he gets a little bit better at it. I mean, you could tell it was like a dude going, "Crap, how do I write a love scene?" and like asked his girlfriend or asked his 12-year-old daughter. It's like, what happens in your books? It was just
Right?
very. Ceredrian, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hello, I think she's speaking Elvish to us. I am finally able to see a stream here. Well, thank you. So glad for you to be here.
Yay.
Okay. And how
That's
about you,
nice.
Steve?
No, I can see the streams every Saturday.
Oh,
She was talking about your impression of the chapters.
damn it!
Oh, well, my impressions of the chapters were I liked them. Every one of them is probably, they're almost at the climax of each storyline,
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of tell. So it's like it's cliffhanger ish, but you can tell all of them are close to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely wrapping things up. And there was one part where I think that they almost pressed fast forward. He was like, "Shit, I gotta finish this."
Yeah, I went a little cray cray for a minute.
Yeah. Well, as Rennie says here, like, share, and subscribe. Good morning, people. Yes, please do if you haven't already. We've got 11 people in the chat. Thank you for being here, everyone. Yay! And if you haven't read The Sword of Shannara or any of these other books, go ahead and go for it. We're going to be reading the first three. So if you finish The Sword of Shannara, start off on the next one. And then in a few months, we'll be doing Magician from the Rift War. So, and
the next Shannara book is the Elf Stones of Shannara.
Yay!
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. It's not about the Elf Stones.
What?
They're
That's some bait and switch right there, sir.
Yes. They are involved and more fleshed out, but it's about a really fucking big problem.
Oh,
Mm.
I thought we had a big problem right here, but okay.
Yeah, this one's bigger, I'd say.
Well, fuck that.
There's like two warlock lords. There's two of them.
Oh, damn. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two.
That's not
The
right,
elves
man.
the elves lack the stone.
Yeah, the elf stones are like a set of balls that they share among themselves. They pass them from person to person whenever they need them.
Detachable in a little sack.
Yeah, and now Shay has them, so the elven community is dying out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me get this going here. Son of a bitch. All right. Sigrian says Cerigrian. Is it Cerigrian? Grian? I don't know. Help me out here, people.
It
I'm
says
terrible.
Seregrian.
Yeah, I read it
Ceregrian.
Seregrian, but
Oh, thank you.
at first I had to do a double or triple take.
Okay, thank you, Ceregrian. And if that's wrong, let us know because Steve
Or
knows everything.
Seregrian.
That's what happens when you're raised in Downton Abbey. You know everything. She said, I read the first Shannara stories decades ago, enjoyed the first two very much. Oh, very nice.
Oh, nice.
All right, so here we have the map. I decided to bring this up again because we're actually still, let me see. We're hanging around Tyrus or Tysus or whatever the heck it's called.
There it is.
Yeah, see the little castle down there,
Mhm.
and right above the Rainbow Lake, across from the candy corn forest and the lollipop trees and all of that. There we go.
This
And
LGBTQ representation right in the middle of the map.
Oh no.
Steve, you're mean to me. But I'm sure there is representation. I'm sure there is because people, all different kinds of people in all walks of life. And yeah, Kern got all burned out. We've got all the guys here because Minion is arriving with his girl Cheryl. Yeah, I know. Every now and then I can rhyme. And then the rest of them, they're trying to get up to the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. Oh,
Well, they're
where's my?
further up, Strelaheim Plains.
Yeah. So
And then, no, they're in the mountain range, Knife Edge Mountains.
yeah, they're right here. Yeah, because they were
Yeah.
up around here with the troll. So yeah, they're trying to get to the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. I mean, maybe they're getting very close to Mount Doom, but and I finally we got the payoff. We got the payoff for what happened with himself. All right, rather with himself with Kelset, the dragon.
Troll.
I mean, the troll even.
Dragon.
Yeah. Let's see. Snorpoop says, well, there are two ways to translate melanin, and either applies in my case. I opt for my friend because I doubt anyone here is a wet friend. Oh, my friend. Okay. Segri. All right, here we go. It's pronounced Serigrion. Oh, wait,
No, it's Seregrion.
No,
but,
it's
no, it's an AH.
Grion.
Seragrion. Seragrion. You guys are
That's
very
very
good.
interesting.
It's Sam Messiah says, how do you pronounce that in Finnish? Oh, we're screwed. So screwed. Okay, so with that all in mind, with all our introductions out of the way, so we are now at Tyrsis, I think is how it's pronounced.
Yes, Tircis.
Yeah. And our little boy, he arrives with again with his girl Cheryl, and Palance is all, oh, hello, and he has like this military parade thing going on, which is definitely not what you do when you are in the middle of a big ass war, and and so Minion is pissed, but I think he senses that Palance is batshit crazy, so he doesn't want to rock any boats. Oh, let me take that down here. So he decides, okay, I'm not going to f with him, and he plays along, and then Palance is like, Cheryl, my love, and she's kind of doing that also, where she's thinking, all right, I can't really I can't really tell him, I don't love him because he's acting a little batshit crazy here. But
He
and
doesn't
then
know that he's friend zoned.
yes, he's definitely friend zoned, and the role that Stenim or whatever you say his name played in it. Yeah. Oh, hello, Brucey T. Thank you for being here. Everyone who spends more than 5 minutes with Palance comes to that conclusion. Yes. um, and something happened off screen where they said, "Oh yeah, Balinor and his friends tried to escape today, and we didn't know that." And let's see. Um, but okay, they failed, but it gives Minion an idea of what's actually happening with them. That okay, so he's gone batshit crazy. He's saying he's the king, and they're all imprisoned, including what's his face, um, Senim. And is this when we get?
And Stenham is not imprisoned.
Well, what's his face? Minion holds him at knife point or sword point.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Did I say Stenham was in prison? I'm sorry. That fuck my life. Yeah.
Pendle, maybe?
Yes. I was looking at my notes here. And so, yeah, then what happens is we don't get the big love scene, but there's little moments with Cheryl and Minion, like, oh, Minion, oh. And he's like, just go in and rest. But yes, in the middle of the night, an assassin comes in. And all of a sudden, Minion, because he's badass, he's able to stop him. And this guy is so lame. He says, This was a gift, Prince of Leah. Merely a gift from the king, and he wanted me to show it to you, and I came in not to disturb your sleep. And Minion was like, That is some grade A Bolshevik. And
Also, just to specify, the thing he wanted to show him was the dagger. Just to make it wasn't anything else. Important information.
it is a gift. Yeah, it's like he snuck in into the middle of the night. Oh gosh, this is terrible because it also says his voice broke slightly. Yes, he said it.
Yeah, he pulled it out and was going to poke him with it. And then he got caught and said, It was just a gift. I was going to show it to you.
He whipped it out and tried to put it at Minion's throat.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. You heard it here first here at Miss Martin Muses that is what is for fudge's sake. That's what's going on here. But Minion then gets an idea. He gets an idea, Precious. He goes, you're going to lead me to my friends and you're going to pretend and everything. And let us through because Minion's a badass and would kill him. So that's what they do. They go down to the dungeons and Stidham's like, I'm here by order of the king, and we need to get in here. And so that's how Minion is able to get to his friends. But and what does it say? The wearied prisoners glanced over abruptly, only thinly masking their astonishment at seeing the Prince of Leah. You see that no one here is dumber than a rock. They know they're very perceptive of their surroundings, and then the chapter basically ends with Stenham kind of going, I'm evil because they go, Stenham, your rule over this land and its people and your domination of my brother are over. Balinor is saying, Whether or not you will ever see the light of another day depends on what you do from now until the time I am here. And there is a moment of silence as the mystic looks desperately around. He's in North Ring in the tower. And then he goes, if he has been harmed, mystic, uh, Balinor turned sharply away, and Stenham shrank away against one wall, gazing at the tall figure uh, of the borderman. Minion watched him almost in pity, and then something clicked in his mind. A memory of a scene he had witnessed several days earlier on the banks of the North Island of Kern by the candy cane forest, as he had lain concealed on a small, not candy cane forest, overlooking a windy beachhead. The same mannerism. He was the one. He was the one. And he goes, you were the man on the beach, the kidnapper. You tried to kill me. And then, heedless of the cries of his companions, he rushed toward the new hysterical mystic, who somehow managed to evade his initial lunge and break away. Minion was after him with a bound, the gleaming of the sword of his father raised for a strike. Halfway up the stone steps, he caught him. Yet the end did not come, for as the sword drew back, and Minion held the man and stood him tightly against the stone wall, the massive door to the ancient cellar swung suddenly open. I'm like, oh, for F's sake. And the thrust of the pull slamming the iron-bound wood back against the wall with a jarring crash. Framed in the door in the entryway stood the broad figure of Palance Buchanana. Oh wait, that's not where they got stymied. But yeah, Palance.
It's Buckhanna.
Okay.
It's not Buchanana. It sounds like a weird fruit. I know he's crazy, but
Okay, when I read these names in my head, they sound differently. Yeah, and then that's where the chapter ended. So he gave us a little bit of. I jumped ahead of something that's going to happen in a little bit, but that's how the chapter ended. It kind of broke off mid action. I almost got a feeling that it was it was a moment where they go, crap, this chapter's too long. Let's go ahead and pause it here. And wow, Rennie, you're rolling well. So Rennie, this chapter, how did you feel about it?
Chapter 28 was actually pretty good. I really liked it. I feel like you got to see more into Palance, and I don't know. I just really I like that. You could see that. At one time before I think he was what's the word I'm looking for? Like basically brainwashed by Stenman. He actually had a heart. He cared about people. You could tell you could tell there's some love for his brother, but he's so happy to see Cheryl, and he's wanting to be friends with Minion, and he's like, you're another prince. You've been, you saved the woman I love. I'd love to be friends with you. I could trust you more than I could trust Stenman, because he's not really a friend. He's more of an advisor. And you kind of see the real Palance come out, because I don't think the Palance we've been seeing is the real him, except for whenever he was having those like inner struggles, so to speak, when Balinor, I'm like, why am I forgetting Balinor's name? When Balinor was trying to talk to him previously, before whenever he locked him up, you could see he was kind of breaking through to his real brother. And then, Stenman comes along and, puts the mask back over him, and he's Stenman's minion again. So, I do think that it was nice to actually see some of his real personality seep out. I thought it was interesting that Stenman's a bad guy. No way, we only suspected it like the whole time, and for him to try to play off, oh, I was just bringing you this dagger as a gift. Come on, seriously, you were trying to cut his throat. But I did really enjoy Minion holding him at sword point and making him like take him to the dungeons, just about.
Yeah. There was a satisfaction. Yeah.
Yes, it was just great having that served to him, even though he kind of got away at the end. It was nice to have him under someone's thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So, seeing how he's trying to control everything and manipulate stuff, it was nice to see him not be in control. And I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is a really good chapter, in my opinion.
Yeah. Good to see Wormtongue get what's coming.
Exactly. Get him dewormed.
Yeah. And before I forget, It's pronounced, I believe, Shannara. Shannara. Uh, Holy crap! The German words and everything that's coming out in the chat. Well done, chat. You guys are awesome. Wow, some serious etymology in German and Germanic stuff. So, Stieg.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, what are your explain yourself? No,
Well, I agree with Rennie on all points, and it was also good to get four of the characters out of jail because they've been in jail for a while,
yeah,
and again, Menyon shines.
yay.
He seems to be almost the MVP of the story, in
Mhm.
some sense.
I would agree with that. Definitely, him and Balinor, I feel like, are the two.
Well, I make a case for Flick as well
Oh,
because
yeah.
we'll get to that, but he's done something. He's done some important stuff. Remember that stuff with the bridge early
Yeah.
on when he figured out how to raise the bridge.
I think he showed the most of his quality when he got the courage to save Elventine.
Yeah, he's actually
Or Eventine, sorry.
yeah, Flick is really good under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all proving their quality. Yay. And even Faramir or Palance will have his moment. Yeah, evil Faramir. What if they made Faramir evil? That's what it would have been. But was he evil?
Is that Menyon has actually more in common with Faramir than anyone else?
Yeah, that's true.
Because Faramir was a bit of a ranger as well.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's
Oh yeah,
true.
he's my.
And he
no,
was
he's my.
and he was tall and dark.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about the whole brothers analogy with Balinor being Boromir and
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah, Brucey T says, "Yep." Ironically, the guys who weren't meant to be even on the quest are the ones to save the day.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, George Lucas is here. Thank you for being here. I know you're a fan of fantasy, so I always appreciate
Well,
that you stop by.
George Lucas knows Terry Brooks. He had him write the Phantom Menace novelization.
Yeah.
It's probably why he's here to back up.
Back up his bro.
Back up his,
Yeah.
back up his bro. Wasn't he also the one who came up with the rule of two? Or
Yes.
Not the
Right.
rule of two, but he came up with Darth Bane.
Darth
Oh,
Bane?
that's
That
right.
was it. I knew there was something he did. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. There. Yeah. Everyone loves George Lucas. And hello to Moon. Thank you for being here. Okay. Anything else before we move on? Because I feel like this chapter just really stops right in the middle of the action. The speaking hour
Yeah,
forever
it
destroy your happiness.
stops the way a scene in the TV show would stop.
That's a good point. So like everyone runs to the bathroom, and
Yeah.
and we get our toothpaste commercials or toys commercials, and it moves on, and then it doesn't move on to chapter 29, where Palance is there, but he's obviously very confused and very drugged because he keeps saying, "Wait, am I really mad? If not me, then what? Say something. My mind, it's all like unclear." And then he
Yeah.
says to
If I'm not me, then who am I?
I do like that though. That's an interesting way to look at, people who are going a little crazy. Is it me that's insane or is it everybody else? It's kind of the question that he poses. So it's like, dude, it can't be everybody but you. That's weird.
Yeah.
Usually they tend to blame everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Rennie's so mean to everyone.
That's right.
Yeah, everyone knows, she's a villain.
It's not my fault they keep coming back for more.
and then Steinman decides to play his card. He goes, "Call your guard, my lord," because I think that with Palance there, he's feeling a little emboldened. "Dispose of these assassins now." But Palance wavered, and he goes, "There will be no killing, no soldiers, no killing. Balinor is my brother. He and I must
Oh.
talk now. Oh my goodness. You brought Cheryl back to me. I thought I had lost her. Why? Why would you do that if you were an enemy?" And of course, I just imagined Minion kind of doing some shifty eyes here, like, don't look at me here. But, and then, what is it? Happened. And then something his advisor saw caused the mystic to release his grip on the other's arm and slip away. And Minion, this is from Minion's point of view, the spell or whatever it is kind of leaves him, but uh, whatever hold the evil mystic had managed to secure over Palance was gone. The man's already muddled thought process had been pushed beyond the brink of even basic comprehension, and Stidman was now no more than another face of sea, an indistinguishable being. So yes, the poor dude's going to be batshit crazy the rest of his life, but he at least is no longer under his hold. And then Minion goes, "Listen to me, Palance. Call Cheryl down from her room. Call Cheryl, and she will help her." He goes, "Cheryl." And at that, uh, the Stidman goes berserk and was it shrieking with rage and frustration. He threw himself at the other man, grabbing wildly at his tunic front. And then Minion, who's always so awesome, which is worries me because whenever I like someone, they die, bounded quickly toward the high landing to part the struggling men, but he was still several steps away when Stedman's lean hand drew back momentarily, holding high a long dagger seized from beneath his robes, the weapon raised, and for one terrible second hung posed above the men. Then it fell. Palance rose sharply to his full height, the dagger buried to the hilt of his broad chest. "I give you back your brother, fool!" And I'm like, "You bastard!" Even though
Hmm.
Palance was batshit crazy, he was coming
So
too. And here's this
I
picture that
found a
he
picture
has.
of that.
Oh,
Really?
you read my mind.
Yeah.
I actually had it pulled up and ready to go. Yes, Steve
Actually,
has a
actually,
picture.
I found several because people do artwork of that one. It seems.
Yeah.
But there you go. He looks evil, doesn't he?
Damn, yeah. And look at the poor guy. It is
Oh yeah,
exactly how,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Why do evil people always have dark beards and like weird looking noses and like tiny eyes? Feels like.
Because, obviously because they're racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what an asshole. "I give you your brother, fool." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I literally like because you guys know I go through these chapters twice just to make sure that I catch everything or don't forgo something. But I gasped both times. I was like, oh no, like he was just coming to. That's not cool.
Uh, yeah.
So it just kind of broke a teeny little piece of my heart.
Yeah. Well, speaking of breaking a tiny piece of everyone's heart, Tyrone Beard is in the chat. Hello, all the way from Australia, or at least in a roundabout way.
Downstairs.
And
Yeah.
yeah, downstairs from Australia. We started in Australia.
Even in the U.S., he's down under.
Would you like me to validate that statement?
No, you guys are dirty. Gosh. Oh no! For fuck's sakes. Is he speaking of dirty and all that stuff? The the private chat. Yes, goes back to Rasputin, the OG worm tongue Stenman. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's fair.
you talk about if there was ever an evil possessed man. Holy crap. Uh, it parallels Sauron's torturing Gorlam. "You shall indeed reunite with your wife before killing him." Oh, naughty Ren. All right, and hello, hello, Rico Zoro. Yes, thank you for everyone being here. If you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, please do so. Yeah, but look at that badass picture.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And it kind of accurately depicts what just happened.
Yeah. Um, I felt like there was nowhere else they could really go with him because they said that he was so far gone. If he had lived, he would have like been in a medievalish nut house.
No, because they know they're going to get attacked,
Yeah.
right? So what they could do is use him as catapult ammo, just
Oh,
to basically cover him with, barbed wire or something, and shoot him into the massive enemies to at least have him do some damage.
Wow. Now that would now that's what the bad guys would do.
I know.
But he is kind of a big muscular guy, so he would do some stuff, do some bad stuff. But I'll tell you what, my stone cold heart melted a little bit. It moved a little bit because it as Palance is sitting there like I'm dying. He calls out for Cheryl. He's and then Minion's like with tears in his eyes. He still loves her. He still loves her.
What he should have
Um,
done is whispered to him and said, "She's dead."
Oh, that was so mean. You know, I will say one thing that I really appreciated about like Minion, even though I do like, the idea of him and Cheryl being a thing. I like that he respected Palance enough or, respected the position and tried to actually befriend him enough to where he didn't want to hurt him and throw it in his face. By the way, I actually got a thing for your girl. So, I thought that was very nice and it was very kind of him because he could see the state he was in. And I think he did genuinely try to want to be his friend.
Should
You
have
know?
just whispered to him that she's mine now.
Oh, like as he's dying, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm a bang your girl soon.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah,
No, I should have said he already did it.
no, that's not right. Her hair
Oh.
smells amazing.
Yes, that is indeed a Hildebrandt
yes.
piece of art.
Mm.
His paintings of this are really really good.
He used to do Tolkien stuff.
Yeah.
Or actually, it's two of them. There's a brothers Hildebrandt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, I only know them. They're like the Brothers Grimm. You mainly know them by um, their brotherly thing. But meanwhile, while we have this moment where there would be music and everything, and he's like Cheryl, Cheryl, Balinor and the other dudes are like running after Stedman, and I love this image. With unbelievable fury, Balinor pushed ahead, heedlessly knocking everyone in his path aside. And I'm imagining him just going down, and there's all these people in the hallways just knocking him like a bowling ball out of the way. His face grim and terrible. But this is what the part that I'd gotten ahead of myself with as they go running into the entryway. There's a whole bunch of people from the Border Legion, and they're like, "Yay, Balinor!" And they pick him up and raise him to his shoulders because, like, yay, he's free. But unfortunately, and they're like, damn it, get out of the way. We want to get to Stedman." But this gives him the opportunity to get away. So, unfortunately, the fact that they loved him and they were all excited to see him free, it fucked everything up. So. But I guess he decided we weren't going to get rid of two people at once. We want to keep Wormtongue around because he's got to go back to report to Saruman or something like that. So now, I don't think it's a spoiler what Palance's fate is going to be. Because
No.
look at that dude. I mean, that is an accurate.
Yeah, he's still alive though, but he's kind of in a coma. But
Yeah. He's
it's
not
not looking good.
They don't typically come back from stuff like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good.
No, unless you're Arya Stark on the TV show. But
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
plot armor. Oh gosh, talk about something to give you flashbacks and all sorts of stuff. And I just dropped my fracking book. Okay, so meanwhile, Minion stood quietly at the front gates and Cheryl was next to him, one slim arm locked in him, and he locked in his. He glances down at her momentarily and smiles reassuringly, holding her close to him. It's like, oh, and Balinor was now king of Calahorn, though he was anything. It was anything but a cause of celebration. Here we go. His brother lay in a coma, weakened and extremely close to death. And so we know that he's not going to make it. And they're also generally fucked. And here's what's horrible about they found the father deserted in north in the tower. He'd been dead for several days. For one thing, ew. I mean,
Oh, that's gotta reek.
it's really got to reek. And they determined that he had been systematically poisoned. So he had been murdered. And yeah, and the fact that they just let him rot in there, it's like, oh
And
my gosh.
Stenman
Well,
had made sure he was the only one treating him, basically.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it sounds like to me, and made sure that Palance didn't know anything because Palance thought he was still alive, which is sad, you know?
Yeah.
And I do like how they revealed, and, we kind of thought that either he was under some witchcraft or was being, like, drugged, but they confirmed that Palance was being drugged by Stenman,
Yeah.
you know? It's sad.
Uh, yeah. It, yeah. Because of his
Yeah,
alchemy and his
he
other
had
stuff.
Yeah.
vaccinated him.
Ah!
Oh,
They gave
oh,
him an
fudge.
mRNA
Yeah.
beverage.
So before YouTube bans me, vaccinations are safe and effective. So
No.
um yeah, so it became clear, but it was like a almost like a spell, and I can understand that. And but that was also the clue we talked about last time, that he was behind the whole chloroform incident. Which he knew too well. He's probably used that before when he wants a woman. Hello, Keely Chow. Thank you for everyone being in here. We got 16 in here. Hello. Um. So meanwhile, okay, is this a me being nitpicky? If he had been dead for several days, they would not have been able to do much of an autopsy. I hate to say it, but gases build up in a
Well,
body.
yeah, but there could have been poison stuff around him.
That's true, because you literally kind of blow up. I mean, for lack of a better word, if
No,
you're
I
not
mean
intended
there
to.
could have been the actual bottles.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's why, because otherwise, yeah, I I maybe would need to look into
Oh
that.
yeah, and Brucey in the chat has a good point.
Oh, Brucey says, well, Stedman only had to hold that roost till the invasion. Then it wouldn't matter.
Yep.
Mm, true. Yes. Ruth, this is an awesome audience. Yes. Yeah, no, I get your points. It's just, well, it just sucks all around. And I don't know if we,
It's still a sudden conclusion with little explanation of investigation.
yeah, just trust. Trust the science. We said so. Um, what does it say here? And maybe we'll get a little bit of mourning. I don't know, but it just seemed that we just moved very quickly into the next part, and Balinor knew like right away that, hey, we need to defend Tarsus, because as Alanon had said, that the warlock that Tarsus was the key to the success or the failure, and Janus Sempre had carried out his part in securing the city earlier that morning. And this is where some stuff moves pretty fast. Like Hindle and the Elven brothers are there kind of helping out, and they go for the mid done. And this is also a bit of a prediction. Dial is like, Eventine will come. Eventine will come. And then Alanon has never failed. He will not fail us now. So they go out to have a big ass fight. and get repulsed, and it kind of happens off screen.
Yeah,
Um,
Balinor goes off and tells Menion that he has to stay in the city, right? Because
mhm,
Menion wants to go look for Shay and Flick,
yeah,
but he's like, nope, you need to help defend the city in case Balinor croaks, right?
correct. Yeah, because
Balinor starts. He uses the Border Legion, and he. Uh, I think it. I think they start off with basically attacks at night at their flanks,
Mm-hmm.
hit and run stuff until, and then there's like some sort of main fight, and Balinor and the others have to retreat. So they basically done what they can outside because they figured that they wouldn't suspect an attack.
yeah, but then they were dismayed to find out that the numbers were far beyond what they thought. Even though they killed a bunch of them, but they found out there were thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Steve, for that. Because I sometimes feel I'm like a little bit of a blind lady. Because I don't know where we're going. But the most important reason, that Minion had to stay behind, as we all know, he went over to Cheryl and and he said, I still feel guilt. If he feels as deeply for you as you do for him, and he knows in his heart the truth, no man can fault you for the courage you have shown. And I love you, Minnie and Lee. And I laughed out loud. I was laughing out loud.
Yeah, it was a little corny, wasn't it?
Yes.
But it was sweet. But it was pretty
Yeah.
corny.
Keep in mind, it's from the 70s.
Yeah, that's true. But it was also cute because then Minion says, Minion stared at her stupidly. Like, what? And then she laughs and hugs him. And she goes, I wanted to say it out loud. I wanted you to hear it, Minion. If we are going to die. I'm like, wait a second, that's the dude's line. If we're going to die, we have this one night.
Yeah, typically that's the way that guys will sometimes try to get some. So
Yeah. And
we only
tears
have
were
tonight.
rolling down her cheeks. And I like romance. Yeah, but okay, Steve's defending him with the 70s. And he goes, I came a long, long way. I could have been dead 100 times, but I survived. So help me, Stieg. If he dies after this, I've seen the evil there in this world. And in worlds that mortals only dream exist, there is no one, nothing that can hurt us. Love supplies a kind of strength that can withstand even death. But you need a little faith. Just believe, Cheryl. Just believe. Believe in us. I like it. I like it. I mean, I can't help it. Okay. I just want. Everyone's talking about dying in whiskey. Well, we endorse that here at Miss Smart Muses, I suppose. We came a long way up. A long one, all right. Yeah. But it's our first hint of actual romance so far.
Makes you wonder though what the other ladies in Lee or like.
Maybe ugly AF, dude. Because minions seem to think she was pretty hot from the start, you know?
Yeah. It's like, it's a woman, a girl, and she doesn't have a beard.
Not like them cows over in Lee. No, just kidding.
No, but I love it. And he's
Yeah.
like, she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, and he loved her as much as his own life. And then he kissed her. There is a tempest in Cheryl. No, but the good kind. Yeah, we the kind of tempest that Galadriel or fake Galadriel has is something completely different.
Yeah, she's just batshit crazy. She's a Karen.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cheryl has a different kind. Oh dear. So we got some love. I just kept thinking, can you feel the love tonight? So, but we needed this. We needed this love, and yeah. So after what's his face? Balinor gets back from the fight, and then they realize how effed they are. Um, and let's see. They're back kind of like at this dining room table having another thing, and Hendel's there, and Janice is there, and the other dudes. And then they said, okay, we're just going to have to fortify the city. Oh, yeah. And of course, Durin and Dale are there. And of course, Dale's got a chick. And so he starts thinking of her. And I guess his chick isn't ugly because her shy, warm face was a permanent fixture in his mind. And
Plus,
so
she's
they're.
an elf. Elves are never ugly,
Oh,
unless
there you go.
if Amazon makes a show about them,
Then they look like they should have been trolls or dwarves instead of elves.
like 80s soap opera actors.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sharing. I'm not looking at the private chat unless you tell me there's a picture. I'm not. I am.
You'll
I
get
am
a good
putting my
mental
foot
picture.
down. You guys are okay. So, in any
Oh, you
event,
want a
so
picture of that?
Where would
they're
you
being
find that?
naughty, chat. They're being naughty. Um, oh yeah, Barry White. I can't, Jacob. I'm sorry. My darling. I can't get enough of your love, babe. um, all right. So while they're all sitting around talking, it's like let's have a little bit of exposition. Where are we now? And they're thinking of Alanon. It said Alanon held the answers to every question. He alone knew the secret of the talisman men called the Sword of Shannara. He alone knew the purpose behind the strange appearance of the shrouded wraith, the druid Bremen. He alone, in every instance, along every step of the dangerous journey to Paranor, had known what to expect and how to deal with it. Yet the man himself had remained an enigma. Now he was gone from them, and only Flick, if he were still alive, could ask him what was going to happen to them. They all depended on Alanon for survival. Well, I would also add Shay, but uh oh wait, then I'm sorry, and then he's like, but Shay had to be alive with an exclamation point. But at this point, Minion's saying, but this war was something beyond human comprehension. This war between a substanceless spirit being and mortals. How could evil such as the Warlock Lord be destroyed when it not could not be even understood? Um, and I'm thinking, gee, if only there was a magic sword somewhere.
Something equivalent to Excalibur, maybe.
Yeah, the sword and the stone. Well, wait, we've already kind of had that, but they gotta deal with Gollum yet. But they don't know everything that's happened to Shay. Um, and then it says
Actually,
akin.
they haven't seen him since he fell off the cliff into the river.
Yeah, because he's been with Panamon and Keltset, right?
Yeah, so for all they
Yeah,
know, he's dead. He drowned.
yeah.
But I feel
Well,
his.
no, Alanon did that druid sense thing, and he told him he sensed he was alive.
Oh, I stand corrected. Okay, they know he's alive, but they don't know
That,
what he's been up to or how successful he is and all that. So as
yeah.
they're sitting there, oh sorry,
Oh, I just said, yeah.
yeah, okay, I didn't know if the yeah was going into something,
No,
and
no.
yeah, but then this is a cozy moment at the end of this chapter where the five of them are speaking in quiet tones. They just sitting there drinking some wine around the table. They're speaking of better days and the friendship shared uh, between them, but even that couldn't stifle the lingering realization that the horror of war was more distant than the sunrise and as inevitable as the darkness of the Warlock Lord, reaching slowly, inexorably out of the north to snuff out their frail lives. Dun dun dun. So ends chapter 29. Now, Steve, this chapter, I feel we leapt forward like tons of stuff, and then they ended with some exposition. I didn't know what your thoughts were about what we've learned, what we discovered, how we've moved forward, etc.
Well, I thought it was a good chapter. Uh, some of the stuff that they fast forwarded through wasn't that important.
Yeah.
We knew how they attacked the army, and why it didn't work as well as they thought, and blah blah blah. You don't have to describe it, really.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, and especially because if there was a thesis, the thesis is it's Tursus stupid. If I'm pronouncing
Yeah, and he did take time to give the characters like a friendship moment,
it. Mm-hmm.
which could have been glossed over easily. A lot of writers would have done that, but it didn't happen in this one. And I'd say for the story, that's I think it was more important that he did that than describe the hit and run attacks.
Yes. No, I agree with you. And to be honest, I appreciated the reminder that Dale has that chick that he kind of left at the altar for all of this, and that he loves her. And I'd kind of forgotten some of those details, and I think it reminded us of that. And I like kitchen table kind of scenes, especially in medieval times, and when there's stew and like hot tea and mugs of ale and wine. So
Yeah, fantasy books makes you want to eat.
yes, and big blankets. But though there weren't blankets in that scene. No,
Yeah.
I agree with everything you say. Uh, so yeah, Rennie. Before we move on, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I can't remember, was it this chapter or was it 28 where Minion goes to whenever he's talking to what's his face, Stinman, and he's like, by the way, I was sent by Al-Anon, and you could feel and like see the sheer terror in Stinman's face for half a second. That was kind of cool to show that he was like actually genuinely intimidated by Al-Anon.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of an interesting part to that character. But something I appreciated about this chapter that I thought was kind of interesting, because yeah, they do the whole love scene thing, because we forget Minion's fairly young, like Shay and Flick, not quite as young as like Dale and his brother, but he's fairly young, so this is probably his first love. And he was talking about I wonder how Shay's doing. I should really worry about him, but you know what? I can't really be too worried about him, because I'm more concerned about, what's going to happen with Cheryl. So it's kind of an interesting insight, because, he fell in love with her, and this is probably his first love. So it's like, well, I don't want to forgo this. Shay will be fine. you know? So that was quite interesting.
Yeah, you got to get the chick.
That's right.
Good point. Minion actually has character growth, says Brucey T. He's controlled his emotions better, and he's given responsibility, which he used to run away from.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's something that, that I feel like the book doesn't focus on him as much as I would like it to sometimes. It's like, I want to know more about Minion, I want to know more of what he's going through. That seems to be, his story seems to be very interesting because of his character development, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. And good points about Cheryl being also a bit of a steadying presence on him a little bit. What does it say? We have a dog in the house. We have a Hound 3000, woof, woof, woofy. Oh, wait, sorry, woofy, woof. Sorry, I don't speak dog very well. And Tommy's here with his guinea pigs. We love animals here at Miss Martin Uses. We welcome guinea pigs. We welcome dogs.
There's polar bears too.
Polar bears. And I think that's all we have.
We have a little petting zoo. No.
Yeah, our own personal petting zoo. Yeah, we have Sometimes we used to have a cat showing up, but Maury's not around. She hasn't been reading these. So, alrighty. Well, good points all. Good points all. Oh, hello, little Spec. Thank you for being here at Miss Martin Muses. If this is your first time here, everybody, everyone that's coming in or watching in the chat or listening in the rerun, please go ahead and give me a like, share, and subscribe. We like to talk about good fantasy and experience these books together. Now, Steve, the other picture that you gave me, does that go with this chapter? I'm trying to figure this out.
I don't remember what picture it was.
Yeah, okay, let me put it up. Because I think it really was something from a previous thing. I don't this, here we are. That's the one with
Oh,
Cheryl.
oh, that's when they arrive at Tursis,
Hmm.
because the Borderman guy and Cheryl helps Minion inside because he's dead tired, right?
Okay. And that was the one that we originally thought
Yeah,
was
it's before he meets Palance for the first time.
Okay.
okay. We thought when he was wounded, but yeah, he's just exhausted. Hey, I have been that tired. I have been that tired before. And by the way, thank you for all the recipes you all are putting in the chat. I think it's a recipe for an oliphant and sushi and all sorts of other stuff, but not humans. I don't think, or elves. For fuck's sake, Saragian. If I said that, I think I said it right. I am picking up a lot of points for writing. I'm reading draft of my own novel, and I recognize some weak points which I can improve. Yes, I always tell
Oh,
people.
I have a tip for you. Read Terry Brooks's "Sometimes the Magic Works." It's his book on writing, and it's written very easily and straightforward with good examples. It's probably the best book on writing I've ever read, and you might find that helpful.
Well, okay, yeah.
You can find it dirt cheap on eBay.
Yes, and maybe even at a library if you want to go that route. I'll tell you what. I always tell people if you want to write, whether I'm a prose writer, I don't really write fiction except I've delved into fan fiction, but that doesn't count. But it helps with some fun. But read as much as you can. It's
Yeah,
not a coincidence that people like Stephen King, he before he wrote his even put pencil to paper for his first horror novel, he was actually an English teacher and he read all the classics hundreds of times.
yeah. Every writer out there is also a big reader.
Mhm.
I mean, if you if you don't read, you can't write.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Tommy
think
says
sorry.
when I was younger, I got a kick out of Where the Sidewalk Ends. Okay. Not heard of it. Okay. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The one of the very good advices that he has in the book is read, 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 write, 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 repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yeah.
If you keep doing that, you're going to get better.
And be willing to accept constructive criticism.
Yes, constructive criticism is not an insult. An insult is when people just tell you that everything that you're doing is great because they think that's what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nobody is perfect. All of the great people had great editors. it
Yeah,
and like imagine if Victor Hugo for his first draft had just done whatever he wanted
Yeah.
for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay. Snail Messiah says no. Mr. Martin says no. It was Snorta Poopers was wondering how to cook elves. Oh, they're cooking elves. Well done. I can think of a few elves that need to be cooked and eaten, but they're fake elves, of course. Sarah, help me out here. Sarah Grian. Yes, I agree. I have been writing for 40 years, but never got the big break. But yes, reading is a building block. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
My
And
great.
if you're writing fantasy, and you're looking at it as a building, the world building and the lore is the foundation.
Mhm.
That's what holds the story up.
Yeah, that's true.
So if that one's full of crap, the cracks and all that, it's good. The building's gonna crumble.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to be consistent within your
Yeah.
world. Yeah. And here's the thing that's awful about big breaks is you can't orchestrate it, and you just have to be at the right place at the right time. And you don't even know when it's going to happen. Um, and in the right century and in the right month and in the right year. But I I have opinions about self-publishing right now is that perhaps if done correctly, and maybe that might be some of the route to go because I think that the traditional publishing companies they're not looking for good stuff. I think they're looking for
Oh,
agenda.
yeah. They're looking for writers that check the boxes. I literally heard about a writer who had written a story that they wanted to publish. Right? They said, "Well, this is more than good enough to publish, but you need to leave out this bit." And that bit that we're talking about was the guy had a female protagonist, and he had done quite a few chapters explaining how that lady got good at what she's good at, right?
Mhm.
Basically explaining why she's good with a sword or whatever it was. He was told to cut that stuff out because they weren't interested in it. All they wanted was a female that was good at something.
Yep. And I don't
So
think it's
basically, they wanted her to be a Mary Sue.
yeah, they didn't care about that. And I think that there's a very good reason why Brandon Sanderson has decided to go the independent publishing route. Uh, I think that the attacks he got out of nowhere probably say why. Because he went 26 million. Oh, it was much higher than 26 million. I think once it hit 26 million on Kickstarter, and people were just attacking him, going, "Oh well, he's a Mormon white man." And I remember thinking, I think you're telling us why maybe he went this route. If they were starting to attack him or wanting him to put stuff in his books that he didn't want to do. Okay, you know what, Shantu, I got to give you a shout out. Thank you so much. That is good, solid pedagogy, or not pedagogy, teaching, I guess, but using a pedagogy that I recognize. Said, think of her name as Sarah Green. Sarah
Mm.
Green, which isn't exactly right, but close. Sarah Green. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe we do have some teachers in the house. I don't know, or natural teachers. Sarah Saragrian is hated because he's successful. Yes. And like I said, they spent way too much time knocking his religion. Way too much time. And I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
who the heck cares about the religion of the author? It's not like he's filling his books up with Mormon stuff. He isn't
No, because it wouldn't be
at
successful. It
all.
would be boring. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Tracy Hickman is a Mormon too, I believe.
Mm,
Dragonlance writer. There's no Mormon stuff in those books.
yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. They wanted to attack him.
They're
And
they're they're not even preachy.
no. Well, and we suspect what they're starting to do to, well, Weiss and Hickman. A woman, by the way. They're starting to marginalize them and
Yeah,
screwing with their work when they did the Dragonlance. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move on to chapter 30 because we are finally moving on to what really happened with Kelsey. Oh, by the way, this two more points just because it is relevant to what we're saying. Bruce T says young adult publishing is notorious for this type of Mary Sue stuff. Yes, I have a friend who is a librarian, and she confirms it's all just insane. And Saragrian says they are saying the same thing about Tolkien, his Catholic faith, and Elizabeth's Christian faith. Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I think we skipped some though, because the Elven commanders had a little bit.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is we're going back. I'm just introducing the chapter that we're going
Yeah,
back
okay.
to
I
Kelsey.
I I, I thought that happened in the last one. Sorry.
No, it didn't.
I thought it was the beginning of this one.
Oh, about the Elven commanders? Well, no,
Yeah.
it starts off with
Or like maybe the middle or something. But
yeah,
it's
because
in
it
this one.
no, we start off with Shay and Panamon Creel and Kelset, and he sets up here. What we're going to find out by the end, I think this is good writing. He goes, Kelset still remained a complete enigma. So he's reminding us, by the way, he's an enigma. An enigma that's not going to be an enigma. And they're out trying to find Oral Fane. And there's also a little bit of exposition reminding us. It says Alanon had told Shay at Coalhaven, that the Elfstones might show them a passage to the Southland, but using them would also reveal their presence to the spirit world. Alanon had told Shay so at Coalhaven, and he in turn had told Panamon. The sword of Shannara was a one weapon that could protect them from the Warlock Lord, and if they had it in their possession, they could be assured of at least a fighting chance. The basic plan was to regain possession of the talisman and escape back through the wall of darkness as quickly as possible. So that's what they're doing. And so they find some evidence of Oral Fane, and they go, Kelset, what do you see? I was thinking of that line that became a meme. You know, what do your troll eyes see? And so um as they're finding him, as they're going along, that Shade notes that Panamon is looking really evil, and he's thinking if Panamon found him, Oral Fane was a dead man. Yeah. And they're like, so we found him again. This time he will not get away. I mean, I love it though. I love it because it keeps the action going. And I think in these parts, there's not really a lot of. I did look. There's really not a lot of details that happen, as just the fact that we know that that this is occurring, that they know they have to get the daggone sword, and that Panamon is giving zero fudges. He is going to get this little fucker. Pardon my French, but don't pardon it. Then we get to the elves. The company of weary elven riders. Yay! And John Lynn Sindar was there with a bunch of them. Oh, and it does say his sharp eyes peered far into the western horizon. So what did his elf eyes see? He used his elf eyes.
Well, he didn't see shit, really.
Well, that's the thing.
I see jack shit, bruh.
Okay. Oh, it looks like we're losing Hounds. The dog. The dog's going good night. Good night, morning, and night. Yeah, thank you, Hound. We appreciate you stopping by and always so supportive. Thank you. Have a good sleep. And the Elven people had followed Eventine's advice, for they had prepared for war, but the invasion had not come as expected. Then Paranor had fallen, and with it the sword of Shannara. Again, Alanon had come to them, asking if they patrol the plains, blah, blah, blah. And again, they obeyed without question. And they're looking for their king. We will find him, John Lynn. He is not an easy one to kill. And he's going, I know he's alive. I can't explain how I know. It's just something I can sense. It's like, thank you, Luke Skywalker. Or Leia. I know. Somehow. I've always known. And then it says the Elven people would not panic altogether. They were far too disciplined to do that. And I'm like, oh, speak for yourself, Mr. Elves. And so anyway, so they're going along, singing a song, and they're going. Then his elf eyes look out, and then he goes, a horseman. And they peered at the distant rider moving rapidly toward them. And you see, this is kind of exciting. And then The stranger began. I met a man a few days earlier, the stranger began. Then he hesitated. He asked me to seek out the right arm of the elven king. I am John Lynn Sandor, the patrol commander said, and the exhausted rider sighed gratefully and said, I'm Flick! Oh, but he said his last name too, and I've come all the way from Kalinorn to find you. With no little effort, he dismounted. If you'll give me a few minutes rest, I'll take you to Eventine. I was excited, Stieg. I was excited.
Yeah, Flick's he's contender for MVP in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
I still think Menyon though, but yeah, Flick is in second place.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been growing on me with each chapter, and I have Eventine. You will come. And I mean, come on. The right hand of, the right arm of the Elven King. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so I don't know, Rennie, did you expect that was going to be Flick?
Kind of a little bit. So, kind of seeing where the story's been going on lately, it's like, okay, it's got to be him. That's kind of what was in the back of my mind, but at the same time, it was still nice to see him, and it was a nice sort of surprise. So yeah, it was kind of cool. I will say I did really like this chapter for kind of the I guess last half was pretty cool. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yay. Oh no. Jacob's making fun of me a little bit. Olventine lives. What I called him, Olventine. The hot chocolate. Drink your milk.
Wow.
That was my fault. Entirely my fault. Yeah. So, meanwhile, they've gotten captured by a bunch of trolls. Shay and Kelset. And they felt like they'd been betrayed, that Kelset gave them up. And it was like, I thought you were my friend. But but as we learn later, there's a reason why that Kelset wanted to go with them, and that they were going to lead him to where he needed to be. This was all part of his grand plan, but we didn't know. So we're sitting here thinking, as they're being captured by these trolls and being marched along, that Kelset betrayed them. And now, I didn't really feel like Kelset was being revealed as a villain. Did you feel, Rennie, that that's what was happening?
Well, kind of, because, when you're seeing the story through Shay's eyes, so to speak, because, Shay and Flick are where the story started. So if they see something a certain way, I feel like I kind of sympathize with them a lot on it. Mm-hmm. So when Shay's like, oh, I can't believe he did that to us, he betrayed us, it's like, oh man, that's a real shame. I thought Kelset was going to be a good guy, so I was kind of disappointed myself at the time.
I noticed another thing, that when they're prisoners of the trolls,
mm-hmm.
the trolls do not mistreat them.
No, they really don't.
You would think they would, because of what we've seen about trolls earlier.
Oh.
But they do not mistreat the prisoners. They even give them food.
Yeah. And then later on, yeah.
Yeah, which means in the Shannara world, the trolls are not big dumb brutes that are evil just for the sake of it, or something like that.
That's crazy.
And we also get an explanation for why they're with the Warlock Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what's brought to light, because they have a trial. It says like dozens of trolls were seated in a wide semicircle facing the ridge, and thankfully Panamon is helping out. He's like, this is a trial, Shay, not for you or me. We're to be taken to Skull Mountain beyond the knife edge. The kingdom of the Warlock Lord will be held for whatever. I don't think they know who we are yet. There's hope still, but a trial, they said, for Kelset. He has demanded the right to be tried by his own people rather than be turned over to Brona. It's an ancient custom, and the request cannot be refused. Okay, I'm sorry. That wasn't the start of the trial. That was a praying thing or something. Um, but I continue. So off they go to have their trial. Like, I demand trial by combat, but not by combat. That and as they're sitting there being all trolls and trolling, the Kelset gets out. Uh, what is it? A cross centered in a circle, and he puts it above his head and puts it about his neck. And Panamon's like, "By the gods that gave us life, I don't believe it." And everyone's like, "This is astonishing." And, and at this point, I'm like, he's showing off a medal, and everyone's losing their crap over it. This is why he's allowed us to be taken without a fight. And then Shay's like, "Will you tell us what's happening?" I like this because I feel like Shay at this point is like, "For frig's sake." He's like, "The pendant, Shay, the cross and circle. It's the Black Irix," and I hope I said that right. "The highest award, the greatest honor the troll people have given to their own. You must be a closest thing to a god that a mortal can approach. Somewhere in his past, Kelset has earned this honor, and we never guessed." I'm like, "Of course we never guessed because we didn't friggin' know, and it was all mysterious."
Also, the short story that takes place between this book and the next is called The Black Irix.
Hmm.
Oh,
I can send you that short story on the email if you want it.
please
I'll
do.
take it.
I think
Yeah.
you will want to read it.
Okay. So anyway, so finally we get with Panamom translating, like Han Solo does with Chewbacca, though this came first. He tells us what happens. He told them that he comes from Northbane, one of the larger troll cities in the far northern Charnel Mountains. His family name is Malicos. It belongs to a very old honored family, but they were all killed, supposedly by dwarfs. And they asked him, "Well, how did you escape?" So they had thought him dead as well. It must have been a pretty grisly affair. But wait, Shay, there's more. Kelset says the emissaries of the Warlock Lord destroyed his family. The Skullbearers came to Northbane almost a year ago, seizing control of the government and ordering the troll armies to accept their command. So this is what Stieg was saying. They managed to convince most of the city that Brona had come back from the dead, that he had survived for thousands of years and could not be killed by mortal hands. The Malicos family was one of the ruling families in Northbane, and they refused to submit, demanding the city stand firm against the Warlock Lord. Kelset's word carried a lot of weight because he wore the Black Irix. The Warlock Lord had the entire Malicos family decimated, except for Kelset, whom he brought to his fortress in the Knife Edge. The story of the dwarf looters was a deception to inflame the troll citizenry to join in the southwest west invasion. But Kelset managed to escape before they got to the prisons, wandering southward till I found him. The Warlock Lord had ordered that his voice be burned out to prevent his communication. That's why he couldn't talk with any living being. But he learned sign language. He waited for his chance to return to the Northland. And they said, "Why did he return now?" And our big friend says he learned of Brona's fear of the power of the sword of Shannara and the legend that a son of the elven house would appear to take up the sword. See, he knew all along.
And it
Hmm.
also ties back to when the Skullbearer recognized Kelset.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's
good continuity.
yes, it's all connected. And then the ending sentence, he says they must go with him to the Skull Kingdom, and that once inside the fortress, you, Shay, will destroy the Warlock Lord. And the triumphant music plays. So, see, you're right. It all makes sense. It's all connected.
Yeah, it's well plotted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I guess you can understand why the trolls submitted to the Warlock Lord.
Yeah, and if you think about it, with Kelset and Panamon, right? Kelset is actually the most important of the two to the story.
Yeah, I always kind of had a feeling about that. Like,
Yeah.
since there was a lot that we didn't know about him, I was like, okay, he's going to be actually like a hidden gem, so to speak, in the
Yeah.
story.
And usually, a character that's a troll doesn't tend to be the interesting one.
No,
They
they're
never
just
really, they're just big and strong,
big,
usually.
dumb, henchmen, so to speak.
Yeah. But Terry Brooks actually made a troll very interesting.
Yay. And I think it said earlier, someone said in here, this was also different. Brucey T said there is a nobility to the trolls in Shannara. Yes.
Yes, big time. It's going to get fleshed out even more later.
Yeah. He says, unfortunately, we have to wait till book 3 before the gnomes get redeeming qualities. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Uh, it's a twist on what we know, and well, the hint of their culture, like I said, like the story behind the Black Ike Six, if I'm saying it right, and their customs and almost Klingon kind of gave me a little bit of a Klingon kind of vibe to some of it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Snail Messiah says there was a troll in The Witcher 3 who was a very good painter.
Well, good. Well, he was better than I was.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a. Oh, is that part of the game where you have to
Yeah.
paint? Okay.
No, you don't have to
Oh.
paint. You have to get paint for a
Oh,
troll.
when you said, he was better.
And yeah, the trolls in The Witcher, they're dumb as shit.
Oh, well, okay. Well, and they sure as hell were in the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. I mean, those 3 trolls in the Hobbit.
Yeah, the
Dumber.
Witcher trolls are a bit like that, but dumber and more R-rated.
Oh dear.
Oh. Oh, please don't tell me there's troll sex.
No,
Blah.
no.
Oh, not that kind of
Blah.
R-rated.
That's yucky.
Yikes! For frick's sake! All right. Well.
The troll sex, I believe, is anime and stuff like that.
Oh.
That doesn't make it any better.
No.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be going first with Rennie for the anything you want to add that hasn't already been said about this chapter, or anything from the very beginning all the way up to this chapter of the Sword of Shannara.
I don't know if it's anything that hasn't been said, but I did find it kind of interesting that that Panamon just gets really cranky. He loses sight of what he typically likes to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realizes there's more to Shay than, just, wanting to get the sword. He realizes that he wants the sword, or he needs to get the sword for a purpose, and it's higher than, he originally thought. So, coming to that realization was kind of good. Also, yeah, I really enjoyed learning more about Keltsit, because even though he was quiet and all that, I'm like, there's just more to this guy. We need to know what's going on with him. And it was kind of nice to get some insight into him and into the history with the trolls versus the big bad, so to speak. So, that was really awesome as well. He's very humble, because he didn't go around going, yeah, I got these medals, because I could have swore they said he had more than one. I can't remember, but it was kind of cool that, he was just so humble about it, and he was so kind. He was very protective of these 2 men that he doesn't even know that well. And then he brings them into this troll camp, and you think that, okay, well, that's kind of messed up. You just threw them to the wolves. And then he didn't. He knew that they were going to be okay, because when anybody has this sort of like medal of honor, so to speak, then, other trolls know that they are the most trustworthy that you can be. And so even though being in the company of humans is typically a no-no, they realize, okay, well, no, he's obviously like pretty on the level because he's got this award. And I don't know, it's just pretty interesting chapter. Between this one and 28, I'm not sure which one I liked better out of the three, but or best. But those are the two that I liked the most out of the three that we just read. So
Yeah. Well, it's hard to compare because they're good in different ways.
yeah, exactly.
They're the same but different. And I'm going to hand over the mic to Steek.
Yeah, very good chapters, all three of them, but the last one was my favorite
Mm.
because I like the trolls.
Oh, well, cool. Yeah, and I like a reveal. We were ready for some reveals, and I I I liked the explanation of why Kelsit was the way he was, and now he's like the biggest champion of we're gonna get this guy's ass, we're gonna get him into Mount Doom, and we're gonna bring that sword of Shannara to the Dark Lord.
Well, first they need to get the sword.
Well, that too, yeah, they gotta get the sword from Gollum from Orlfane, and then get their butts over there. But definitely, uh, he kind of joined the Fellowship of the Sword at that moment. That's what I felt. And I guess Panamon will come along with it. Brucey T says Panamon realizes he's caught up in history and goes with it. Yes, yes. Oh, and well, Tommy says, I wonder if Twitter trolls turn to stone in sunlight. Well, that would solve a lot of problems. Though, of course, most trolls I've learned aren't even real. So, or they're being paid. They just say
Yeah.
the same things over and over again. So, with that in mind, next week is going to be the final one. Even though there's 4 chapters, one of them is very short. There's actually not a lot of text left. See, we're at page 632. Wait, am I right on this? No, I've got the wrong.
Well, it depends on the version you have.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about 90 pages left.
Yeah. It's about 90 pages, but I think we can do it because some of these chapters are so short. And I think the action is pretty heavy on this. If you
Yeah,
read,
and if we split it up, we won't have too much to talk about for 2 streams, right?
no,
So it's better to probably just do the last 4.
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and push like that. Like when in doubt, I don't know, just leave the book around in the restroom or something. You'll get it done. All right, it'll happen. It's a hell of a 90 pages, says Bruce T. Yeah, and I love
those 90 pages are good.
Yeah,
Especially for you guys who haven't read it before.
Precisely. I mean, I'm ready to push on to the end. I love the I was asked, so did you read the first sentence of the next chapter? And it's like, well, yeah, I couldn't help. And yeah, spoiler alert, Palance doesn't make it. But the dude got impaled like right through the chest. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I felt like he was probably gonna bite the dust, to be honest. So that's not a surprise because yeah, I read the book and I listened to the audiobook and I didn't stop the audiobook in time and I was like, oh, all right then.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, for crying out loud, I mean, I was surprised he wasn't killed immediately. I mean, really? Yeah. Oh, good idea. Sean Sue says I listened to it on Audible while driving. Yes, yes. Don't waste time when you're driving. Listen to an Audible. So yeah, here's the poor bastard. I obviously a very tragic character.
Yeah.
And, sorry, let's go back there.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
All the short stories were released in a book a couple of years ago, but it has all of Terry Brooks' short stories though, so it's not just Shannara stuff.
Ah. Okay.
It's called Magic something, but it has all the Shannara ones.
Yeah. Yeah, Jacob Ironside says, I can't wait till next week, the final 4. Hello, anti-derivative Jill. Thank you for being here. Always good
Jill.
to see you. Yeah. Saying hi. Oh, and she said, who? Hi. All right. So I want to just point out here, we started off at what would that be? That'd be about 7 o'clock on the map with the Shady Vale and all that. We went over to Leah where we got Minion through the Rainbow Lake and everything, and up around up to the Hall of
Well,
wait.
they went through the swamp too, and then over to Cullhaven, and then up through the mountains north of Cullhaven, and to
Yeah.
Storlock, and then to Hall of Kings, and
Okay. It's too friggin' small. Yeah. There we go. Hall of Kings. Yep. Dragon's Teeth. And Minion and all the not Minion, for fuck's sake. Shay and all them are going kind of up around here. Minion went over to Kern, and then they all ended up at Tursus. Where the hell's the
yeah,
swamp on here? I lost it.
it's south of the Rainbow Lake,
South
or
of the Rainbow Lake.
southwest, no east. There it is.
Oh, the Mist. Oh, the Mist
Yeah,
Marsh.
yeah, because they
Oh,
encountered the monster thing in there.
okay. I was looking for the word swamp. That's my fault. Yeah, the Mist Marsh. Okay. And oh yeah, and they went. Yeah, there's Coalhaven. Yeah, we had
Yeah,
all those little.
and then they went straight north through that pass and all, and
Mhm.
Minion and Shay and Flick almost died, so they went to Storlock.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Yay. We kind of made a box up around here, and well, we'll see where they're going to end up. It's been quite a journey. Hopefully for next week, but I'll maybe make a little map again where you
oh,
can.
and they stopped by the Valley of Shade too, or Valley of Shale,
Yes,
to
down here.
talk to the ghost of Bremen,
Oh yes,
and then to the Hall of Kings.
then to the Hall of the Kings. Yeah, cool.
Book 2 takes place more on the west side,
Alrighty.
so you get to see some other places.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't get over there at all. Not past here. We got Ricker Line. We got Wedge.
No, sorry, to the west. My bad.
Oh wait, did you say no? I think you said west, and I don't know
Did you mean
east from
east?
west.
Oh,
You were right. I was completely wrong. And believe it or not, I do have a geography certification, so I don't know what's wrong with
well,
me.
at least you have a moral compass.
I
There
do
you
have
go.
a moral compass. I do have a moral compass.
I feel like that's true.
Okay, up around here. I actually, dang it, I had to take a cartography class. I had to make my own maps with my own projections and stuff. I don't know why I messed up east from west. Just kill me now. Just kill me now. Handing back in all my degrees and certifications and all of that. But yeah, that's awesome. Let's see what's going on. Oh, everyone's saying hi to Interderivative Jill. And I'm a mapaholic. Oh gosh, yeah. Well, maps are cool. Maps are fun, and there's a really good book that I had to study called How to Lie with Maps because you can be manipulated through maps and how to learn
Yeah, you
how
make people think east is west.
to. Yes, you can. But it's not lying if you're doing it by accident. Okay, it's not a lie if it's by accident. It is. Well, you know how you can lie with map. You can do all sorts of stuff. Um, and I did a research paper on how they discovered the cholera, the how cholera was spread using a dot map. So it turned out pretty cool because as they were doing all the infections, all the dots were like around this water source in the middle of this, in I think believe London, around this pump, and they were like, "Wait a second, it's coming from the water." But I digress. So, anything else about Sword of Shannara before I move maybe to a little bit of a free for all? Speak now or forever destroy your happiness.
No, I'm just looking forward to you guys. Uh, getting to the end,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
moving on to the second book, which I think you're probably gonna like that even more.
Yay!
assuming you like this one, of course. But
Yeah,
it is different than this one.
Well, and that's probably a good thing. You said there's a time jump. How long's the time jump on it?
Mm, 20 years, I think.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
just gonna have the kids of someone else. Or
There are some familiar faces in it.
Yay! See, I'm still afraid someone's gonna die because we still have time for people to die.
Yeah, not a fan.
Mhm.
Not a fan of people dying. At least the main characters, you know.
Yeah, Minion had better live.
Oh, is it 50 years? Oh, yes, it is. There's 20 between 2 and 3, I think, something like that.
Hey,
But there's 50. Yeah, he is right. I'm mixing up the time skips.
Oops. Okay, 50 years. So they'll be if when Minion lives because he cannot die, he will be an old man.
he'll be a grandpa.
Yeah. I swear. I swear. If he doesn't make it, it's going to be ugly.
I'm not going to say anything.
I know you're not going to say anything. I know. Oh dear. Yeah.
But since it's 90 pages, so probably not a bad idea to start early.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm likely going to hell, I'll probably start it today because I mean, first of all, that's one hell of a beginning of a chapter. Palance is dead. Not Palance. Yeah, Palance. Sorry. Gosh damn it. Oh gosh, they have so many names that are so similar. Panamon, Palance, but no one's as bad as the children of her.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's so awful.
15 names. Actually, I haven't counted, but I swear that man had more names.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's like Hurin, who was called this name by that village over there that we fucking will never hear about.
and he was called this by this people, and that by those people, and that by those people, and that people, and those people.
Yep.
And then that people, and that people, and those people. So they can all fuck off. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just open it up for a free for all. As all you know, I always can have veto power. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
saying shit because of last time.
Yeah. Oh, Zekrot is here. Hello, Zekrot, saying howdy. Yeah. How many? Many or many names among many countries? Yes. Well, I mean, there's really. I've gotten a lot out of my system with some of my daily musings and stuff. Because there's a lot to be pissed off about. Minion's head knocked off of the club. It flies 60 feet and lands in the rabbit hole. And the game of golf was at the same time. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, that sucks.
yeah.
Spoiler alert. You heard it here first.
I'm not grumpy about anything this week, really. I'm just having a good week. Rings of Power turned out to be shit, and I get to say, I told you so.
Mhm.
So that's always good. And,
Yeah.
I started watching The Saint,
Oh.
the
You like
original
it?
show with Roger Moore.
Hmm.
It is awesome.
I remember watching a few of those back in the day.
Yeah, and I looked at the guest stars that they had on the show, and they have Oliver Reed and Julian Glover
Hmm.
shows up, and quite a few other, a few Bond girls actually.
Hmm.
So that's going to be, and I think Donald Sutherland was on the list. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Been watching classic Doctor Who, like the old school version, because I found a channel on the smart TV app, one of the smart TV apps that has it, and I'm like, you know what? This is actually when Doctor Who was really good. So, yeah, kind of nice because I've watched like a little bit of it, but not so much. But it's kind of nice to watch, yeah, a lot more and get a lot more in depth. And it's like, this was a cheesy show, effects wise and money wise, but it was great because of the writing and the acting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it says Siragrian says, back in the 60s and 70s were the great days of the spy genre. I love watching TV shows in those days. Yes. And The Saint is great. Snail Messiah says, Steve, please check out a New Zealand show, The Almighty Jognan. I'm assuming Johnson's, maybe. It's one of the best shows I've seen about Norse mythology. Oh, well, you heard it here first. Yeah. Is Rennie in the toilet? Oh, yeah. You're sounding like you're echoing. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. So it sounds better now. I don't know. Maybe your mic was you had to jiggle it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Sometimes it'll sound kind of wonky, and it's like, no, I'm not on the toilet.
Yeah.
I remember a YouTuber forgetting to mute when he went to the bathroom
No.
on a live stream, and everyone heard him flush.
Oh, dude. Well, at least I didn't hear him, fart in a plop or something.
Oh no,
Yeah, no.
Because that would be so gross.
Yeah, we just heard a loud flush, and then he started humming, na 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 or something.
Oh,
what do you think of Batman?
I don't know. I don't know. Buttman Begins.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Proper flushing.
Oh, but yeah, Proper did it too, I think.
Don't forget to wash
But
your
he
hands.
wasn't the one I was thinking about though. It was someone else.
Gosh, there's more than one person that goes to the bathroom during a live stream?
Yeah.
Okay, this begs to say though, if you could hear it, does that mean that they're live streaming near the toilet? I mean, my toilet's not.
The bathroom could be next to the living room or bedroom or something.
Yeah,
where they have
that's
the
true. Or like, you could have like, I had a house that had a small hallway. And so like, the hallway kind of echoed, and even though the bathroom wasn't nearby, you could hear like the toilet flushing and stuff from the living room.
We heard Christy's cat jump into the toilet on a live stream and then freaked out and started running around her living room drenched in toilet water. That happened on a live stream.
Yeah. And that's happened more than once because she was like, "Oh, I got to go bathe the cat because the cat keeps trying to drink water out of the toilet." I mean, thank goodness my cats do not do that.
No, mine doesn't do that either, which is kind of nice. But I used to have one that just like if you left the lid open, it's like, all right, thirsty. I'm like, no, don't drink out of that. That's yucky.
Yeah. Well, and they can drown.
Yeah.
Especially, it says, oh, God, my kitten did that the other night. Poor baby would not let us clean her up. Oh, ew. Yeah. Well, kittens can drown, like literally. They say that's a drowning hazard.
Imagine the cops showing up, because the cat's dead or something, right? And they look in the toilet, and there's a dead cat in the toilet, and they go, "What the hell did you eat?"
Oh no.
It's Lemmy Winks is dead in the toilet.
Oh no. Yeah, Jacob Ironside says, if you have to use the restroom during a live stream, please mute your mic for the love of everything that is holy. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, LOL. Oh gosh, that's terrible. Well, I know it's your dream that my cat would drown herself, but she's never been into toilet water. No. Yeah, she's not been bothering us at all. Neither has the Benedict. They're just sitting up there on their windowsills staring at me with hatred, as usual. Snail Messiah says, I had that problem when streaming SWTOR with a friend
That's Star
Uh,
Wars: The Old Republic. It's an
oh,
online game.
ah, thank you. With a friend on her channel. I just took off the mic and went to do my thing as I thought no one would hear a thing as I had to speak loud. Oh, oops. Yeah. Yeah, be careful, people. Use that mute button. Snail Messiah said she didn't mute me, so.
Uh,
Oh, and for men, it's really noisy too.
that's true.
Because, physics.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have someone, forgetting to mute and you hear them pee and they kind of scream and howl and go, "It burns, it burns."
No,
I
no.
don't know what to do with that, man.
Oh. Jacob Ironstar says if they drown in the toilet, at least they have 9 lives. Saragrian says that's why I don't think I could ever do a live stream. The kitten loves to do the keyboard dance and play with the mic. Yes. Well, one thing I did learn with Benedict is if he starts to come near me, I pull out the nail clippers and he runs. So that's the one thing that he's afraid of. Keck44 says, I'm telling you, Depends is missing out on an advertising opportunity. The streamer gang. Okay. Okay, everyone's laughing. Yeah, I guess toilet humor never fails.
No.
Oh boy.
It will be like they're streaming, and the stream is called Close Encounters of the Turd Kind.
Yeah.
Like a watch party.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well. Okay, now I'm imagining that movie, but instead of the mashed potatoes scene, it's
Wow.
a pile of garbage. Oh
Pile
crap.
of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes,
My
a pile.
turn.
Yes. Thank you, Steve. Gives new meaning to live stream, says Saragrian. I think I'm getting better. Saragrian. There was Amber Heard's live stream. That was
There was
Amber
a
Heard's.
there was a picture of that shit and a picture of the dog too. No way that turd could fit inside that small dog.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sit
Imagine
here.
imagine poor Momoa though that has to do underwater scenes with her. He's literally in a pool with the bed shitter.
Blech.
Oh gosh. Well,
Gives a
is
new meaning
or
to you shit
isn't
the
she
bed.
fired from the next movie?
Yeah,
Like, has
I
she been
think
taken
she's
out?
I think she's gone now.
Okay. Because sometimes it's hard to tell because you'll have headlines for a year, so and so's being fired, and then then it's like, no, this time they're really being fired. So I never knew when it was real with this situation. Um, and Aquaman 2, The Floater of Doom. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I think sadly the MCU and the DC EU or whatever they're calling it now are they're dead on arrival. I mean, they should have just stopped with Endgame because to me that's where it ended, but I guess they're still having too much opportunity to make more money.
They don't
And
have anything to replace it with.
yeah. And yeah, precisely. And they're still making enough off of them. It
People blindly pay for logos. That's the problem.
yeah.
And if it's
Yeah.
shit, they'll go, "Oh, maybe it's better next time." Well, it's the piece of shit you just watched is actually part of the next one. So, and a story is the sum of all its parts. So, how much shit do you need to pay for before you realize, hey, this is shit?
Yeah.
Precisely. And even the DC EU, I never thought it was that good. The best one,
No.
well, I liked the Wonder Woman, and I really liked the Snyder cut. I thought the Snyder cut was better than anything else Snyder had actually done.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
Yeah,
I liked it, really liked it, but I did not like Batman versus Superman. Couldn't stand that movie, but the Snyder Cut was great.
the director's cut of Batman versus Superman was better than the original cut. But I will say, I think I liked his version of Watchmen a little bit better than his Justice League, but I still like the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was definitely good. And it was an event. Sarah Green says on another topic, Miss Martin, how long does it take you to edit and create a video? Not too long at all. What I do is I film it using the StreamYards and record, and then I have a little editing thing, and I just kind of sit and edit it, and then it's done. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff, and I don't script. I speak extemporaneously, and if I make any mistakes or anything, I just edit it out. I have found that for me, there's no difference between whether I put something really fancy on or just have myself talking. Actually, sometimes those will get more uh, views. It's the topic, I think, more than the presentation. So if that answers your question there. What was the purpose of phase more? I mean, for more money. And she says to
Yeah.
Stieg, Saragrian says, don't ask questions, consume product, and get excited for next product. That's exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Money to be made. MCU ended with Endgame. I agree. Enough of the fired whisperings. Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, not until an official announcement is made. That's what Shansu said.
Well, does
Fool
it
me
even
once.
matter if it's turned to shit anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much a mess, Amber Heard or not.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes to the DC EU or whatever they call it, Amber Heard is not really the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with her
Nope.
is outside of the movies.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's no problems with is it Mira?
Well, I think the issue is though is because or what people were looking for is because she put such a stigma on Johnny Depp that he lost his career for a while and nobody wanted to hire him. Like, he got fired from Fantastic Beasts. Disney fired him from Pirates, which I think they're now reneging on. But she did all this stuff to ruin his career, and I think people are wanting retribution for that since she was actually the problem. I think that's where that stems from. It's not because it's like, oh well, she's a horrible person, she needs to go. It's just like she caused this to someone else and it was actually her, so she needs to go. And I feel like that's kind of a fair way to think, to be honest.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still separate from the DC universe.
No, I get it.
Being a complete mess.
No, I definitely get it. I just think that they just lump it all into the same subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a reason for that, but it's probably not wise for me to talk about it on a live stream. Bruce T says, well, yeah, even if they fire Kathleen Kennedy, 70 damage is done. Yeah. And, okay, so they fire Kathleen Kennedy, right? They're just going
Again?
to replace her with someone exactly like her.
Well, and it doesn't even matter because, like you said, the damage is done. You have 10 years of a complete mess of Star Wars. And Disney's not going to get rid of 10 years of content.
Oh, why should they?
That's not going to happen.
It's made them plenty of money, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, they need to retcon the sequel trilogy. Okay, let's say they do that. They retcon the sequel trilogy. Good luck. Carrie Fisher's gone. How do you do it? CGI Carrie Fisher. And then you have the problem with all the shows.
Yeah.
Right? And the comics and the novels that are actually just as bad as the sequel trilogy. I mean, Star Wars Rebels and the last season of the Clone Wars break the lore and continuity more than the sequel trilogy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, here's the deal. Okay, thank you, Tommy, for being here. uh, and I think maybe there was a moment right after the Last Jedi that this real big crap show that was happening in all these shows was only starting. So it made sense at first for some people to say it's all Kathleen Kennedy because we didn't have a lot of examples at that point. We're talking 2015, 2016. Like, get rid of Kathleen Kennedy and they'll bring in someone else and we're going to stop this. And fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. The first time the Kathleen Kennedy being fired didn't come true, I was done. I was like, okay, I'm done. It was all bullshit. But we have so many other examples that it's not just one person. And the more you think about it, how absurd is it that she's sitting up there cackling like a maniac, going, ha 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 ha, I have all
Well,
the power and I control everybody and I'm just going to destroy Luke Skywalker for no reason whatsoever.
well, it wasn't even her that came up with it,
Mm-hmm.
because
Correct.
Disney released a book. I think it was The Art of the Sequel Trilogy or something like that. And they had an excerpt from it from the, where they planned the sequel trilogy. And you had JJ was there, and Filoni for some reason, and Hidalgo. And Filoni was the guy who came up with what they were to do with Luke. He was the one who suggested that, and he wanted Leia to be the important one because he wanted to bring the matriarchy back to Star Wars. I'm like, why does he get a free pass?
He never does in my book. I've always hated Filoni.
Yeah. So the Jake Skywalker stuff, that's on Filoni. He was the one who came up with it.
Yeah. Well, I think at first people still associated Filoni with
Favreau.
being connected to George Lucas because George Lucas was a part of the Clone Wars to begin with, and
Very
That's
early
true.
on. I
yes,
have an
Yeah.
interview with him too, where he says he checks in once a week at the most. That's all he does. He just produced it and let people do what they did.
yeah,
Like once Lucas said that he wanted that Ahsoka dies in Order 66, and Filoni's like, yeah, nah, that's not going to happen. It's like, oh, no, traitor.
Yeah, he basically when the Disney takeover was happening,
Mm-hmm.
he made sure Ahsoka was expelled from the Jedi Order and sent away, so he didn't have to kill her off.
mm-hmm.
So as soon as Disney took over and he sleazed his way back in,
Yep.
he went completely against what George Lucas wanted for the character.
But you knew he was going to do it because he hesitated so hard in killing her off, and he never did it before Lucas sold it. And I'm like, you know what? Something's not right with this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he started to actively change the lore and stuff of the prequel trilogy. Because back in the early days, he would contradict and ignore the expanded universe, which George Lucas did not do, actually, with the prequel trilogy. He stuck to the EU like a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
But
Even-
Filoni messed up, and Karen Travis quit as a result because he screwed up her books.
Mm-hmm.
And why would that matter if the books weren't canon, right? But and then he what he's done now is basically do the same with George Lucas's movies. There's contradictions all over the place.
Yeah, I think there's being a little more understanding about what Filoni did. I'm just saying, at the time, people didn't quite realize what a snake he was because there really hadn't been a lot of research or a lot of voices talking about that aspect of Filoni. I didn't even know about it because I wasn't following it. I mean, I wasn't researching it the way some people were. And then when the videos started coming out, I think people are starting to see and some of the quotes and the like, and they're seeing what's happening. The all of them are snakes. But and I firmly believe that there's some disingenuous going out around if people say otherwise. That do you honestly believe that some of these people that are working on the Mandalorian and Andor and all that are sitting there going, I secretly hate everything that Disney Star Wars did, and I'm going to do everything I do to get Kathleen Kennedy, the most powerful woman in Hollywood right now with the
Yeah.
biggest studio and all that. Yeah, they're really doing that. They're not. They're just sitting there going, hell no, and they're pulling on their. They're bending over, holding on to their anchors and going ankles and saying, "Thank goodness I actually get to write something."
Yeah, I see people mentioning Admiral Thrawn in the chat. Thrawn is ruined, and
Yeah.
if Thrawn shows up in a future product set after Rebels, you have a gigantic double plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because at
Right.
the end of Rebels, uh, Ezra and Thrawn are in that Star Destroyer, and this tentacle beast thing gets through the window. Right, it breaks the
Mm-hmm.
front window,
Hmm.
and the shields are down too, because the tentacle beasts are getting through the window, so the shields are down. Then, because of the space whales, they jump into hyperspace. This is not possible because they're within the gravity of a planet at that point, right? That is not possible in Star Wars. If it was, then the blockade of Naboo makes no sense, right? If you can just jump into hyperspace from 200 feet above ground,
Yeah.
you know. So that's a gigantic plot hole. The fact that they just make the hyperspace jump. Second plot hole: the window's broken and the shields are down. What's going to happen to you if you get peppered by space debris and tiny rocks and all that stuff that's in space at light
Yeah.
speed? If you get that in your face at light speed,
You'll just be
you'd be turned into
incinerated.
jello.
Yeah.
And thirdly, if they're going to adapt the Thrawn trilogy, it's not possible because in order to do that one, you need the character of Rook, who is the Nogri bodyguard, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's as essential to the story as Gollum is to the Lord of the Rings. Well, here's the thing: Dave Filoni, in order to use member berries, put Rook in Rebels and killed him off. So
Mm-hmm.
if he's doing the Thrawn trilogy, like I said, it's going to be like doing the Lord of the Rings without Gollum.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you see YouTubers going, "Oh, it's going to be awesome. We're going to get the Thrawn trilogy." Like, have you read it? It's not possible, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, Thrawn being alive, like I said, double plot hole.
Yep. It's yeah. So Jacob says someone's gonna have to come along buy Star Wars from Disney if they get their grubby hands off all it and cut it out everything from going on. Well, no, even Rogue One has.
Oh hell yes, Rogue One has to die because they do the same thing when they're escaping Jeddah. They enter hyperspace within the gravity of a planet, which is like I said, a massive plot hole. It contradicts. Well, the whole Skywalker saga falls apart because of that. I mean, the escape from Hoth makes no sense anymore. Han and Luke escaping, Mos Eisley, that one makes no sense. And the blockade of Naboo, because Qui-Gon and the others, right? They have to break through the blockade and then
Yeah.
make the hyperspace jump because they need to use the hyperspace lane, right? That's what the Trade Federation are blocking. They're blocking the hyperspace lane
Mm-hmm.
because they're not surrounding the whole planet. You see that in the wide shots. So
Yeah.
if that wasn't a thing, then they wouldn't have had to break through the blockade, which means the ship wouldn't have been damaged, which means they would never have found Anakin because they wouldn't have to go to Tatooine.
Yeah.
So the whole thing collapses, and then you have Rogue in Rogue One, you have the Vader scene. He's chasing the Death Star plans, right?
Mhm.
which are being carried onto Leia's ship. Well, that's not what he says in episode 4. He says several transmissions were beamed aboard this ship. Well,
Mhm.
not according to Rogue One. Was one transmission being carried on a floppy disk onto that ship.
Yeah.
So you have a plot hole there too. Which
Yeah.
other transmissions were there?
Yeah. Here's an interesting point. Saragrian. I think we've all got a lot to say about this. Stieg, all that is based on the assumption that Disney Star Wars remains as canon. Was there not a rumor that all of it was going to be retconned?
There was a rumor created by YouTubers to get clicks and super chats. Yes.
Yeah, there was no truth to it at
Yeah.
all. When you look to where the source of
Yeah.
all this stuff
Yeah.
was from,
It was from Reddit. I actually looked. I took one of the rumors and just wrote the rumor into Google and searched. It got one hit. And it took me to a Reddit thread when someone listed up the rumor as a question. Do you think this might happen? And then some YouTubers went with it and said their contacts had said this is the rumor. No, it wasn't a rumor. It was a guy. It was a guy on Reddit asking if others thought this might happen.
yeah.
Well,
And
that
when you
makes it fact. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nothing more than wishful thinking. And I mean,
Yeah.
this was one I was not fooled by, but I can sympathize to people that might have gotten hope from that.
Yeah. Well,
But
basically, it's what some channels are doing is what those what do you call them? Those those ministers that sell miracles. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The televangelists.
Yeah, televangelists. It's like that. They're basically just selling hope,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get a miracle today, and then sorry, it didn't happen. My source or Jesus, was wrong, and then but next week you'll get two. Just
Yeah.
keep donating.
Or like Jesus was coming,
Yeah.
Coming next
That's
week, and he's coming next week. Yeah, China's Whispers game. I don't really even think it was that far, and I got to be careful because you don't want to ascribe motives to people, but think about it. Was there any logic? How insane would they be if, let's just say, if it was true, we're gonna retcon everything to make it more like real Star Wars and all that. After, as we've already said, they've made billions of dollars. Some people are saying, well, they didn't make as much as they could have. Doesn't matter. Billions of dollars. All these shows, and you think, why would they retcon it? And then people say, well, because then it would be real Star Wars. You think they care? They don't care. I mean, to be
no
honest,
people.
if they
Even
decided
the
to retcon
haters.
it, they would be insane if they tried to retcon it. And they would be even more insane if how they were retconning it was putting little secret codes into their own TV show.
Yeah.
Here's what John Favreau said as soon as he got the gig. He said, after the stories of Django and Boba Fett and another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. That's how he described the show as soon as he got the gig. Does that sound like he's retconning anything?
No.
The First
But
Order's right there.
But you see, while he was saying that, he was wearing a certain color and he looked in a certain direction that really showed he didn't mean what he was saying. See, that's the kind of thing.
Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
catch
See,
that.
and like I said, I mean, when that's the thing, Saragrian. It's too bad. It's too bad. But I do understand why people wanted it to be true. But
Yeah, I was one of those. I was like, okay, well, there's some hope. Maybe this can turn around after all. Nope.
Yeah. But as we said, so what if they turned it around? I mean, first of all, like I said, they would be bat-ass crazy if they did. I mean, that would be the dumbest thing ever for how many movies, how many TV shows, and all that. And for what? People think that they're thinking like us. Like, as fans, we're like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they ruined the EU. I can't believe They did all these things. How dare they? How could they? Of course they see it's wrong. Can't they see that they've ruined it? And I'm
Here's
like, no, they don't see it.
here's here's another thing that Favreau said. He said part of he's talking about the Mandalorian and probably the other shows, but specifically the Mandalorian. He says, and this was before it was released too. He says part of what's fun to see if we could merge the worlds of the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, the Clone Wars, and what has been considered canon up to this point, and what has been part of Legends. I think this show offers an opportunity to bring in all those elements. So no matter what your flavor of Star Wars ice cream you like, there will be something to enjoy. Which is exactly what they're doing. They've been ripping off the old EU poorly. They've been tying it into the sequel trilogy, the prequels, and the original trilogy. It's all there in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And he's done exactly what he said he would.
Yeah. I want to
How on earth is that going against Kathleen Kennedy, who greenlit this?
Yeah.
I want to
not.
address this as Saragrian. No, the people. I usually don't talk about people who aren't here, but I think they got better things to do than hang out around on my channel. No, it was not
No,
the
it
people at
wasn't
Friday Night
them.
Tights. It was not. Actually, quite the contrary. It was people on Friday Night Tights that were calling this out.
Yeah. Friday Night Tights did nothing wrong.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to, I don't know if anyone clips it like, oh my gosh, Teresa Martin's talking about Friday Night Tights.
No.
I am saying no, nothing against Friday Night Tights. Friday Night Tights were not the people that did this. I mean, sometimes, they're maybe friends with people that did it. And understand, I'm not particularly thinking of one person when I say this, because sometimes I think people get a little bit paranoid. I'm talking about the pattern. And I don't like to single out individuals, because if I really wanted to single someone out, I would do so directly, but to them, not talk about them on the internet. So if anyone's thinking that I'm talking about one particular YouTuber, I'm not. There was about 10 of them. Okay, so it's not. But I do wanted to step in and say no. I'm gonna say Friday Night Tights, nothing wrong with what they did, and they've actually kind of called out some of it as well. Some of the people on there, not on their show, but speaking of tights, Matt Wilkins, Stig wears tights every night.
Yeah, he keeps sending me money to wear them and take pictures of them. It's getting weird.
He wants to make it rain on your tights, bro.
Yeah, it's like, could you shower and then take a picture while wearing the tights? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess he's my buddy. I have to do it, but
it's cold in the winter.
yeah, but the shower is hot.
Oh my god, I can't.
Communist goals for America, says Jacob Ironside. Infiltrate the press, get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policy making positions, gain control of key position radio, TV. Yeah, well, they did that a long time ago. We're screwed. Corey Cochran says, too many hold out hope it gets better. The problem is there's no middle ground nowadays. Even if you like even one show and say it's okay, then you're okay with it all. Yeah, you really can't. And again, no judgment. I want to make this clear, because I think sometimes people think that if you criticize maybe a show, you're criticizing someone for liking it. If someone wants to like it, I have no judgment on someone that wants to enjoy it, watch it, whatever.
Well, here's the thing though. With Star Wars is unique. It's not like Marvel. Star Wars has one continuity, right? So if you have a show or a movie that completely messes up everything and is still allowed to be canon,
it's
then
gonna hurt.
then everything else is a mess too. So it's I don't know, if people are screaming for Disney Star Wars to go away, then stop paying for it.
stop watching it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're giving them views and subscriptions or whatever, you're part of the problem. Sorry, but that's the way it is because you're financing it.
Yeah. The more
And I mean,
clicks they get, the happier they are because they're like, all right, we're doing the right thing because 5 million people watched it in like, the first day, or you know what I mean?
yeah, and I mean you in general though, not Corey Cochran.
No.
Yeah. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is I'm not one of those people that's gonna hate somebody for liking it or watching it. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you want to watch it, you go ahead. The only time I get annoyed is if you like it and you watch it, and then you sit around and say, "Why has Star Wars gotten so bad?" Or "Why isn't Kathleen Kennedy fired yet?" Or Kathleen Kennedy. That's what I'm saying. When there's that disconnect, that does, but it annoys me. But still, it's a free country. You can do whatever you like. But it just doesn't make sense to say, "Oh my gosh, I love the Mandalorian. I love Andor. I loved Kenobi," and then say, "Why isn't Kathleen Kennedy fired yet?" It doesn't.
The Mandalorian and the Baby Yoda merch sales probably saved Kathleen Kennedy's job because it made the arrow point upwards.
Yeah,
And then you had piles of her critics going, "Oh yeah, the Mandalorian saved Star Wars." I'm like, okay, is it saved?
Yeah.
Now?
Were you watching the same show I was? Because I didn't feel that way.
Yeah. Even if the Mandalorian was good, Star Wars isn't saved because Kenobi was a travesty.
Yeah.
I stopped watching after season 1 of The Mandalorian. I didn't like it. I didn't watch season 2. I didn't watch Boba Fett. I didn't watch Kenobi. I'm not watching Andor. I can't do it anymore. Disney killed it for me. It's sad.
Yeah, and there's probably 200 EU books and about 1,000 comics and 40 video games. There's enough Star Wars out there, and even if you don't like reading novels, the audiobooks are fantastic because they have the music in the background, and you have the sound effects.
Mm.
So it's very easy to visualize it as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I should say that everyone that run around and just went crazy saying Star Wars is saved, Star Wars is saved. If you're minding your own business, if you're the investors, if you're the studio execs and all that, you're like, "Oh my gosh, well done, Kathleen Kennedy. You've saved Star Wars."
Yeah, you won your biggest critics over.
Well,
yeah, everybody's saying it.
Yeah.
There you go. And it just is what it is. And like I said, fine, go ahead and support it. I mean, I'm really at a point where I really don't care. I maybe cared sometime around The Last Jedi-ish and stuff, but it's like it's dead anyways. Go ahead, throw your money at it. I just caution people sometimes though, don't get your hopes up. Why get your hope? You got to look at logic. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it for what it is. Don't enjoy it for the hope that this will send a message to Hollywood, because the only message you're sending is they're doing everything right. That's my thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sam will say I watched CFA in the theater. I came out thinking it was really, really bad. And I haven't watched any Star Wars beyond Rogue One since. So again, not going to give us a rat. So yeah. And if I'm missing any comments, I try to highlight them. We've got a lot of action going on here, and I do love this. Yeah, Cobra Kai did everything right.
Oh, and not just Cobra Kai, Ash versus Evil Dead. That show nailed it.
You know what though? I don't understand why it wasn't more popular. It just wasn't as popular as it should have been, especially with the original Evil Dead fans.
I think it flew under the radar a bit, and then
maybe
the popularity grew after it had been,
well, because it got canceled because nobody was watching it. And it's like, what is wrong with everyone?
The views weren't that bad, but they canceled it. It's not what the
network wanted, though.
Yeah, they canceled a few other shows at the same time. So I guess maybe they were cutting costs and all.
Yeah.
But they had gold with that one because when they canceled it, people were pissed.
Yeah.
because it had started to pick up steam, kind of.
Bruce Campbell is amazing
Oh, he
in
nailed it
almost
in that
everything he
one.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's on par with Cobra Kai in terms of honoring what came before.
Mhm. Yeah, Cobra Kai is, in my opinion, the best and, for the most part, the only new content I actually seek out and enjoy. Like the first day it came out, I binged the entire, season 5 and
Mm.
loved it. Only taking breaks for like Pilates. So,
I'd like to heads up though, be worried about the Willow TV show. If
mhm.
you love the original movie, consider avoiding that show because it reeks of woke. And George Lucas had already written a sequel to that one. There's a trilogy of books that he wrote with Chris Claremont. That was the sequel to Willow,
Yeah.
and Disney ignored that too. So they pissed on Lucas another time.
Big
Mhm.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
saying that those books were good though; they were not. But yeah,
yeah. Well, the thing with Willow, I did see the trailer. It could be okay, but I think they're very clever in making the trailers uh, focus. Like they showed a lot of Wally's character. They showed a lot of Willow and stuff, but we all know they do that with the previews. And then once you see it, it's like some obscure person you've never seen that is really the star of the show. So
the
they
only
like to
reason they're
make
doing it is because
switch.
the female baby from the movie is said to be really important. If it had been a male baby, they wouldn't have done that movie.
Oh yeah, no, you're
Or
right.
No, sorry,
or
that show.
or they would have had the baby be dead and his sister is was the
Yeah,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Now if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't know Disney anything right now. I don't know them a darn thing, and I've moved on. For one thing, I'm doing what I'm doing here. I'm enjoying watching. Let's see, things like this month. I'm doing all the old Draculas. I'm watching the Hammer Draculas. I've got a DVD with 4 of them on there, and I'm gonna continue watching those. And again, what we're doing here, reading good fantasy, and
yeah. And, it's like what I've said before. I- if the current entertainment is shit, turn around and go back and watch old shows that you didn't get to watch before.
mhm,
The, there's so much good stuff there, you know. I mean, hell, I keep rewatching The X Files. It's probably my favorite show. That's 11 seasons, and there's stuff that I haven't watched. There's stuff that I watched so long ago that I don't even remember. You know,
mhm,
I have more than enough entertainment. I don't need. Here's the thing: people keep watching stuff just because it's new and because they want to be part of the conversation. That's it.
yeah.
It doesn't even matter if it's bad at this point. I mean, how many people keep watching She-Hulk? They know it's bad. Why waste time? Why not watch
Because it
something good?
gets super chats and clicks and attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and I think that we've said, I think we said on one of the musings earlier this week. I guess more power to you, because if this is your job,
Yeah.
how
That's a
can
good
I
way to look at it.
criticize you for doing what is your primary income? And if you know that, like what I do right here, I love everyone that's watching, but I average maybe 80 views. But if I was a monetized channel, and if I could do 80 views, like doing what I want to do, but if I were to get 100,000, if I did She-Hulk and made a bunch of super chats, can I blame somebody for doing that, especially if
no,
it's a major source of their income?
absolutely
No.
not. But still, it actually isn't helping though. I mean, or rather, it's not helping um, it's not helping yourself if you do that, because you basically keep having to watch stuff you don't like. And
Mhm.
I mean, doing that for a week, that's fine, but imagine doing that for 2 or 3 years, only watching stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
It's probably not good for the head.
No. Well, but if that is people's jobs, and some people really are at a point where this is their full-time job. It maybe it's very similar to sometimes where I am with my job, where you can leave it, you leave it at work and you keep it dispassionate. So, I just always want to say that, that anyone can stream and do whatever
Oh, hell
whatever they
yes.
want to do. And but most people, I think, have moved away from the idea that we're actually changing things by uh, that I haven't heard that being said in quite a while. The idea that's like, no, it doesn't matter. We're not here to change things, and that's okay. That's okay. Jacob Ironside says, "Well, I got to go. Great stream. Thank you very much, and great chat.
Aw,
Yeah, yeah,
thanks, Jacob.
yeah. Oh, they're talking about different kind of voice sounds and the like, and I'm
John Wayne voiced the Star Wars character.
Like a stormtrooper or something?
No, it's the thing with the spy alien in episode 4.
mhm.
The one that
The-
like gets on the little like I don't know, I guess like space walkie-talkie and is like,
Yep. Yep.
Really?
That's yep.
That's not John Wayne.
Yep. Just look up John Wayne on IMDb. He's listed on Star Wars.
Get out. That's hilarious. It doesn't sound like him at all. He had like a very deep voice.
Well, he probably used some kind of voice changing stuff, but it's
Oh, yeah.
it's John Wayne.
That's cray.
Well, 2 thumbs up on that. Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, you talk about a legend, for crying out loud.
That's right, Pilgrim.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's almost Thanksgiving, give about a month, but still.
Oh, yes, it is. Time for pumpkin pie. Let's see, guy who
We say pumpkin in this house, ma'am. No, just kidding.
Oh. Dang.
Sorry, I had to be cute.
No, you're right. Oh gosh. Well, we'll be doing it for quite a while, because then we have Thanksgiving, and gosh, I tell you, I've got like the rest of the friggin' year mapped out.
Here's another fun voice acting thing, Star Wars related. Julian Glover played General Veers in Empire Strikes Back, right? His son voices General Veers' son in a Star Wars strategy game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's very cute.
Gosh darn it. I'll tell you, but anyone that'll listen to me say anything about this, I have got absolutely nothing but mad respect for Julian Glover. I got to spend a weekend as his assistant at a celebration, helping with the autographs and stuff. And that man, I will fall on a sword for that man. Okay. I mean, he was so amazing and so generous and so nice, not a snobby bone in his body. And he just sat and shared stories with me, like in between and things, and about some of his roles that he played. And this was his first, well, I don't think I'm giving any secrets away. He was just really impressed with the fans. And there was a really cool point where I was helping explain to him some of the things in Empire Strikes Back, because God bless them, understand that it was a very small role for him. And then finally, after someone had said something really praising him, like how his eyes looked and all that, and I just look at him, he looks at me, I said, "You really have no idea how good you were, or do you?" because he's an actor. He's just classically trained and all that, and the fact that he's able to bring that out, and again, not a bad word I can say about him, and very, very generous, very kind, and he was very encouraging to me. So yay for Julian Glover
Oh, that's
forever.
cool.
Yes, yes. And what he said to me, I might, well, I'm not going to say that in public, but just very encouraging words. See, Glover. Yes, Glover was in Treasure Island. Yes, he was the closest to the book. Yes, Steve. I know you're a huge fan of that version, and I had the chance of watching it recently for the first time. An all-star cast. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, two thumbs up. Two thumbs up. Um, yeah. So, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wind this down. We've been talking for about 2.5 hours.
Oh, dang. Look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, the free for all. Yeah, we got going on a roll there a little bit on the free for all. And like I said, here at Miss Smart Muses, we're pretty non-judgmental. Pretty non-judgmental. The only time I think you'll ever see me really put down the hammer of judgment on anyone or anything is when I see bullying or cruelty.
Well,
That's
that's
where I
fair.
put that's where I put my foot down and go, no, 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 no. Like, oh gosh, I'm the Empire. Sorry, Revenge of the Sith. No, 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 no.
No.
And it's not too far off that's how angry I get. It's like you don't want to make me angry. It happens maybe once every 10 years where I just get this rage within me, and or actually more than once every 10 years. But if Woodruff Call from Lonesome Dove, when he's always fine until he sees people like being cruel or like what he calls rude behavior, and just loses his crap, starts pummeling people. And Gus McCrae had to like put a lasso over him and take a horse and drag him off. That's how mad he gets. That's when the finger of judgment will come down upon anybody. And I won't tolerate it, to quote him. Yeah, Christian Bale, all those people, the Chucky TV show. I heard that kind of sucked. Oh hell, I don't know. So, but I really do love going through these books. I think we're all having a great time, and keep supporting your thrift stores, your secondhand bookstores. I think that you will not be sorry for that, and you'll be happier for it. I'm at a stage in my life where, of course, I'm not making my living off of YouTube, and so I'm only doing things that make me happy. Every now and then, I will do the whole what really ticks me off, but very, very rarely, or with a little bit of restraint. Right now, what really ticks me off is not even so much the Rings of Power TV show. Though as bad as it is, what ticks me off is how the deceptive practices that they did, and how they not only crapped on fans, but they crapped on Tolkien himself. That's
not
where
okay.
that's yeah, and tried to lie and gaslight and do all sorts of stuff. They'd have just come out and said, "Listen, people, we're doing our own damn story, and I hope you enjoy it."
Yeah.
I think I would not have been as mad. I might have been, oh, this is cringe and stuff, but no one likes a liar. No one likes a liar, and that includes me. Okay, Corey Cochran said, I can't wait for y'all to finish all 3 of the Halfling Gem books more to see what your take is on them. Is that later books in here? The Halfling Gem books?
Well,
I'm not sure.
the Halfling's Gem is the third Icewind Dale book, so you're some ways off.
Oh, okay, some ways off. Yeah, maybe we will do the Icewind Dale. Yes. For now, we have the. Was it the? Not the Sword of Shannara.
The Elfstones of Shannara?
Yeah, we're doing the Elfstones of Shannara, whatever the third one is, and then we're going to do the Master Apprentice and Magician, and then regroup. I am keeping it to fantasy right now, and some veto power. In general, there are some books that really are to my distaste, but I'm pretty open-minded for the most part.
So no romance novels, right?
Well, I've got nothing against romance novels. No, but
I do.
well, Stieg
I
does.
think
Yeah, Stieg would veto those.
I think
Yes.
it would be really funny to get Steve's take on some of this stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
at least to do like a 50 Shades of Grey thing, I think that would be
Oh,
hilarious. But I don't know if I want to put myself through reading those books
we,
again.
you see,
One
that's
time was
where
enough.
that's where I draw the line. I draw the line at sick crap. Okay,
Yeah.
when things get really sick, I guess. I was gonna say maybe one of these days we'll force Stieg to watch like a good Jane Austen adaptation. Watch Pride and Prejudice or something, or even
I
Persuasion.
have watched one of those way back.
Which one?
I can't remember. It was on TV.
Okay. All right. Drifts in his bed as you get into them. Yes, yes. I'm now in Exile. I'm reading the Dark Elf trilogy, and then I'm going to do the Icewind Dale one. Okay. So, Rennie, do you have anything coming up?
No, not that I know of, which is okay, other than the Saturday book streams. With work keeping me like super duper busy on the weekdays, I don't really do much then. And then, yeah, weekends have been fairly hectic as well. So, not at this moment, but I will be back on Saturday, the 22nd. Everything providing that it goes well.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. And see, I have actually only scheduled is next Saturday with the conclusion of the Sword of Shannara and maybe some daily musings, though I don't know because I'm gonna be traveling again. I'm hoping to put together maybe a few more letters of Tolkien because maybe some letters of what he has to say about Sauron.
I love those ones that you do. They're like not super lengthy, but it's just kind of a cool little notation. And since I recently bought the book last, I think, Christmas time, I haven't gotten into the letters yet, but it's nice to hear your take on them and explaining them. So I don't know. I like
Aw.
them.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. Uh, the book is written all over it. Oh boy, Stieg, what are you up to?
Nothing. Well, maybe something with Mara on Wednesday. Not 100% sure. I think we're doing Cringe Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be here on Saturday. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Okay.
cool. Oh, and thank you, Sergen. I appreciate that. Um, it's it's just interesting. Well, because here's the thing: everyone's always like, "Well, this is in the spirit of Tolkien, Tolkien this, Tolkien that." I'm like, "Well, how about we just let him speak for himself?" Because, and not just in his letters, but the dude wrote essays and essays and the corpus of his work is just amazing. Okay, well, thank you for everyone being here, Keck, Sarag. I hope I've gotten the name. Saragrian, I think I've got it. Corey, Sean Sue. We had Jacob Ironside, Snail Messiah. Tommy was here. I think I said Keck 44. We had Snorta Poopus. We like our teddy bears. I mean, our polar bears here. He is a teddy bear, though. If you look at his Twitter, where he has his human suit things with his steampunk and his cosplay, very good stuff. Wilkins was here. Wilkins was here making fun of Stieg and their tights packed, apparently Brucey T. And if I missed anyone, as always, it is not intentional. It is my bad on my part. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to only read good fantasy.